The future is coming. Make it brighter with Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easy to turn your idea into a unique website. You can showcase your work, your blog, you can publish some content, huh? You can even sell products and services of all kinds in just a few clicks. You can customize everything from look and feel to settings and products using beautiful templates created by world-class designers. And there's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade ever. It's all right there, ready for you. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hey, it is Tuesday, February the 13th, 2018. This is the Giant Bombcast. You know what they say about Tuesday the 13th.
They'd say
It's almost
Tuesday the
halfway through the month.
that's right.
13th be with you.
That's what they say.
Beware the oncoming Ides of February.
Yeah. Beware. It is almost halfway. Is this a leap year?
No,
Everybody?
no.
Okay.
2 years ago.
It's summer.
Years ago.
Summer.
You knew that
Olympics.
instantly.
Yes.
Wow.
Are you a leap
Yeah.
year baby?
No, but
No?
I made things official with my significant other on Leap Day
Smart.
in preparation
Smart.
that I wouldn't have
So
to
you only have
celebrate
to,
anything.
yeah, nice.
Yep.
Wow.
One,
Yep.
one out of four.
Smart. That
Whenever
is-
I tell dudes, they think like, "Oh, that's so hilarious! You're so smart." But other people, they're like, "You're a jerk."
I have a friend who was born on a leap day, and so she's like 8 now, I think.
Man, cool. That's a good trick.
Yeah.
Almost a preteen.
Yeah, getting there.
So what's happening?
Fucking, I don't know,
Y'all,
nothing. Jack
what is
shit,
that,
man.
I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have just fucking crazy busy weekend doing stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Good stuff. Cool stuff.
I shouldn't
Top
even brought it
secret
up
stuff?
because it's
Top
stuff I'm
secret. Damn
super
it.
not even going to get into.
All right.
Man.
But yeah, no, I played a bunch of video games as well.
Uh-huh.
Hit up a few vintage stores to try and get that
Yeah,
Garfield shirt.
No, I just ordered this shit off the internet.
Okay.
Really?
I really wanted to bring
It's
that
just-
up, but being as many people listen to the show in an audio format,
The majority,
it
in
might
fact.
not play.
Jeff's got a
But-
Garfield shirt.
What does it say? This is... Aha!
This is what awesome looks like.
Wow.
You know, it's
Yep.
it's funny since that if you're not familiar, we've done a playthrough of one of the greatest video games of all time
One of.
on our website, Garfield Lasagna World Tour.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the newest PlayStation 2 games.
One of the cheapest PlayStation
Yeah.
2 games money can buy.
Amongst.
Ever since we finished that series, a orange and white cat has appeared on my back balcony and stares into my window.
Wow.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's coming to kill you. You
Yeah,
realize that, right? Like, this
I-
isn't, you've seen what can't be unseen, and now it has to make sure that you don't tell anyone else.
And so I asked my partner if they had seen the cat around the property before,
Yeah.
and it was just like, no, I've seen a black cat around, and
Yeah.
I've seen that cat too. So this is a new cat that has
Yeah.
shown up just to haunt me.
You
probably-
summoned something.
you should probably take it in. That's probably where.
I would start leaving it out like lasagna to get it.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Just put lasagna on your back porch and see what happens.
Secret Cat Council has dispatched one of its agents.
Yeah.
I'm not buying the bit where you bought this new. This looks faded in a way. Like it's been in your closet for some time.
This is one of those fucking like made to order bullshit. Like Amazon is rotten with bootleg fucking t-shirts.
Is it so that's like fake distressed?
Yes.
Man.
This is a low fucking quality item, and that's what I get, honestly, for not going straight to the source and going to like Jim Davis getpaid.biz to fucking hook up the official Garfield merchandise.
Man.
I've
Yeah,
seen a
you cut
lot
corners,
of
you get
good
fucking
bootleg
burned.
stuff.
Now
cut
that,
corners, you get fucking
now that I look at it, the print looks old, but the fabric looks brand new.
Yeah,
So,
no, this is like out of the fucking package last night. Like, oh, this thing showed up. I forgot I fucking ordered this in a fit of fucking weird rage.
fake Garfield fans.
Yeah.
Not have
Lasagna
actual
haze, yeah.
vintage.
Yeah. No, I'm like, I've been a Garfield fan since the 80s. Look at this old shirt.
whatever, man. 70s Garfield. It's the only real Garfield. Those big saggy jowls.
No, come on. 70s Garfield is cool,
Yeah.
but it is not the fucking definitive Garfield. 80s Garfield is definitive Garfield.
90s Garfield is the perfect blend. He's
90s
the
Garfield?
middle-
No.
Yeah.
Garfield and
What?
Friends, totally.
Okay.
That is kind of late 80s Garfield though.
Yeah.
I feel like 80s, 90s is the smallest leap. Like 70s to 80s
Right.
is a
70s
big
to
leap,
80s
and
is like,
90s
what
to
the
now
fuck?
is a big leap.
Yeah.
but
Was Nermal existent in 70s Garfield or?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Normal was a beat poet who lived on
Yeah.
Garfield's block.
Right,
worked
right.
at the coffee
They
shop.
changed a lot after those first few years, for sure. Garfield used to eat Tuesdays. And they're like, this isn't working out. We just don't know
Doesn't
why.
make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. She's like, when they invent podcasts, you'll understand why I hate Tuesdays so much. Like, it was just this weird panel. You're like, what the fuck is? He knew. Jim Davis knew.
Yeah. You're not going to believe what happens when Garfield Z rolls around.
Oh yeah, no. There's a whole revelation up front that you're just like reframes the entire context of what Garfield has been up to this point.
Yeah.
He's a dog now.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Have you looked into any other Garfield games?
Yes.
Feel the urge?
Yes.
What have you found?
I found that Garfield Lasagna World Tour for PlayStation 2 is the follow-up to a game called Garfield Saving Arlene.
Yeah,
also for PS2.
Not even the first Garfield game from that developer.
Right.
Arlene.
Arlene is Garfield's girlfriend.
Really?
She's the lady cat.
Pink
shows up.
Pink
yeah.
cat.
I don't know the colors. What are colors?
I
she's
bought
like
so many
pink,
of those
purple.
books. I never met Arlene.
Yeah, no,
That's
Arlene.
weird.
It's-
Okay.
She's got a really long neck.
Yeah, long.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Might
right.
look like Odie in a couple of shots where you're like, it's
Oh.
like you just took the dog and
God.
turned
That
it
adds
into
a
cat.
lot
Yeah,
to the
that's
Garfield
something.
There's
lore.
something
Explains
Freudian
a
about
ton.
that.
Look, man, we all know that Garfield is like this pit of depravity just bubbling under the surface.
Oh, seriously, yeah.
I'm just bringing it to light. That's all. Just shining flashlights. The best disinfectant for Garfield.
Who's gonna snap first, Garfield or John?
John snapped
John
at the,
already
in the
did.
first frame of this whole thing jumping off.
John was never unsnapped.
Yeah.
I feel like he's loose, but he's not like full on. Like I feel like John's gonna go. Postal
You're
soon.
saying he's going to go into like a violent rage. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort of
the end game of this is definitely
like cover himself in feces.
yeah,
and
like
run down the
it's like a
street.
John Arbuckle death by cop obituary at some point where he's just like he's got a comb in his pocket and like a piece of paper that says thank you, and he's just out there fucking point. Yeah, totally. He's gonna fucking rob a liquor store with a fucking toilet paper roll, and
They're gonna find him.
go out and hail
I
the
need
bullets.
money for lasagna.
They're gonna find him broken into the vet in the middle of the night, just chugging dog fertility drugs.
no, that's
by
right.
the gallon.
And that's like phase one. Once he gets all full, he's not young. He is dumb. He's full. Well, and he's gonna fucking the rage will fucking happen.
Oh.
Watch out for John Arbuckle.
I hate Tuesdays.
Anyway, Saving Arlene only came out in Europe on the PS2, so it's a PAL release, which makes it somewhat more difficult for us to take a look at.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Okay, good to know.
I hate myself that much that
Wow, European only, huh?
yeah, I need to see this thing. It may have also come out on the PC.
Okay.
I had someone get in touch. They had gotten a hold of the PC version of Lasagna World Tour and started digging through the files and
really?
found references
Data
to
mining
like
in Garfield.
11 levels that are not in the game. Like the original is like kind of saying the original game was 30 levels.
Sure.
And that like 11 of them are not used. Meaning that like despite there being like basically like 3 or 4 environments in the game, like it is kind of broken up into
Oh, so like going through doors is a
there are
different level.
there are loads
Yeah.
and spots where you can save, so it is kind of on the back end presented.
So maybe like 2 or 3 more locations.
Yeah, and that there's no reference in the code to the name of the eye-patched fucking evil boss of Lasagna World Tour,
Still unnamed.
who is Garfield, like a punk rock looking Garfield with an
yeah.
eye patch, like very fucking solid, very
Punished.
I thought we
old
determined that
boss.
was Nermal.
punished Garfield.
Yeah, that
Nermal
was
from the
my-
future.
yeah,
right,
future Nermal.
It's basically like Escape from New York. Nermal.
Totally.
Kurt Russell Nermal.
But there are files in there that refer to that character as Helix.
Oh.
So I don't know.
That's some top secret code shit.
Also, I'm pretty sure that character is not in Saving Arlene. From the brief video I watched. Well, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know.
it's like Dark Souls. It doesn't spell everything out. It just really leaves
No,
you
yeah, there's a
Right.
YouTube video that's like
Item
fucking an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
That weaves it all together.
the tie-ins with Lovecraft.
Yeah,
This is really
like this whole thing. 5 Dragons did the Elder. Okay, this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just watch the video. I don't know that fucking Garfield. That Garfield game is fucking bad.
Yeah.
And the striking thing for me, like one of the themes I saw from people's reaction to us playing through it, I saw a couple of people say like, this is really like reframed how I think about a lot of the games coming out on Steam today, because by comparison, this Garfield game is 100% competent. It did not crash. It ran okay. Like there was a certain standard to it.
You finished it
for a $15 game that like, and there's a lot of stuff popping up on Steam now for like $4, you know, 10, 15, even in some cases, that is way fucking worse. And I'm like, yeah, actually, I guess like,
they don't have the charm that Garfield.
Well, also that, I mean, you know, there's that definitely plays a role, but I don't know what to make of that, but it kind of made me sad in a weird way.
Totally.
That like people saw that Garfield game and went
really,
like, man, bad games used to be kind of better.
I mean, to be fair, that game went through cert.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
for better or worse.
Steam games don't have that problem.
Yeah. Someone had to look at it and said, okay, you can put this out.
Somebody at Sony signed off on that thing.
Or like put it out now. Just get it out there.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna charge $15 for it.
Just
cut
whatever.
those 30 levels.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Put it out.
Anybody play any games that don't star Garfield?
Yeah.
Are there any?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I saw
Garfield Kart. Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
I saw a Palico named Garfield. So
Nice.
good. Okay. So I guess that doesn't count.
Yeah.
A lot of celebrity cats out there
Yeah.
that you could name your Palico after. I've been having a good time seeing what people name their Palicos.
I named my cat.
That's good.
Yeah.
I
That's
named
not
mine
bad.
Bugs because
Bugs.
I was Michael Jordan. And
Okay.
I felt like it's a good
Okay. Yeah.
Good combo.
Yeah.
Mine's Cal. He's the Calico Palico.
Nice. Good stuff. Mine is Morris.
Hey.
Okay.
After the famous 80s.
We had a good time
Cat
playing
food commercial.
some Monster Hunter yesterday.
Yeah.
My for sure.
Palico's named Peanut.
Peanut.
That's good. Okay.
Did some arena stuff. That was super fun. It was me, Jan, and Dan.
Yes.
That was
Dream team.
Yeah, that was the dream.
How did
team.
that go?
That went
You guys,
really well.
You guys are all pretty high rank at this point, right?
Higher, yeah.
I
think
became
so.
high rank in the stream.
Yeah,
Thanks
we-
to these guys.
Yeah,
So-
we got him there.
I also got to high rank over the weekend.
Like
Cool.
actual, not just number, because I haven't gotten there yet, but there is a thing called
low
high
rank. Yeah, there's low rank and high rank.
So I'm in low rank right
Yes.
now, even though they don't tell you.
Think of
that.
it as like a remixed version of all the existing content,
Okay,
but you get better parts.
Okay.
Yeah, there's way more armor types. There's another area that you haven't been to. as
More
well.
armor types. Somebody I know complained to me about high rank recently, and in a less nice way than what you just said. Made it sound like it is just a way for them to pad out the length of the game without making more stuff.
That's one way of looking at it.
There are definitely new
That's-
monsters that show up in high rank. Though.
Absolutely,
So
But like especially like armor sets, like you're just kind of going
Right.
through the same
Yeah,
cycle of armor again.
the first thing you do as they like unlocking high rank is like, why is this monster in this area? And it's like a monster you have fought before
Yep.
that is just way harder.
It is not a good look. Yeah, I've talked about it a few times. Like
yeah.
that handoff from low rank to high rank.
that's what you were talking
They
about.
just kind of
Okay.
drop you in, and it
That's
looks
the thing-
exactly like, oh, this is just going to be a remix
Is that
of
the
existing
thing?
stuff.
Is that the thing you
It's
were
not
saying?
quite that.
Is that the thing you were saying happens after you think you've finished the story?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the kind of
the cutscene that they give you. Jan could
Okay.
probably speak to that as well. Like it,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like it's kind of wrapping stuff
Yep,
up a little bit,
for sure.
and then it's like, okay, here's some more of the same stuff if you want to do that.
Like there is a mission. There is like an overall thing for you to accomplish.
Yeah, there's a through line,
But
for
the
sure.
way it's built is like, hey, why don't you revisit all the areas you've been to in this harder setting and piece this mystery together?
It is a terrible look.
And I'm hoping that like when I get that meter full, that I assume that's where there's like, hey,
gonna
here's another area with
yeah.
another thing.
Yeah, you're gonna start
Yeah.
seeing new monsters.
Right.
They mentioned an area that you went to with right before you fought like the end boss, as it were, Zora Magdaros, the Elder Seal.
Yeah.
That's that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's gonna be one major area for sure, and then another like side one later on. But yeah, lots of different monsters as well, and they're not just remixed. And it's not just Pink Rathian, it's not just Azure,
Right. Yeah.
Rathalos and stuff.
Because I
So-
fought like a
well, they're monsters that have appeared in other games before, but
sure.
we have not fought.
But
Anyway, but yeah, this there is more armor. You get the alpha beta stuff. So you can further customize stuff. That's great. Then they're gonna have tempered monsters later on, which are like super powerful versions of that. Lots of stuff to collect and do. Like
So you're saying a third version of some of the same monsters?
yeah, potentially.
Oh man.
Do they
Yeah,
act? Do they act different, or do they just
Yeah.
have more health?
It seems
Oh,
like
they
they're
act
both. Like
different.
they're
yeah.
definitely.
They'll
like
get new attacks and
Okay.
patterns and stuff. and
Okay.
Yeah,
It seems like there's a little more going
a
on.
little more going on.
Vinny and I hopped into an expedition last night because he needed an Anjanath,
Mm-hmm.
and I could use some fangs myself.
Hell yeah.
And we got 10 or 15 minutes into fighting that thing,
Uh-huh.
and it ran about 50 feet into some water and then just despawned.
Really?
I had that exact thing.
Like literally, it didn't even get out of sight. Like Vinny watched it disappear, and then it was just like Anjanath has left the area. It was just like fuck.
Oh, was it an expedition?
It was an expedition.
Oh,
I didn't know that could happen.
So on expeditions,
I had
will
it
take off.
happen. I guess it was it was an expedition, but it didn't even say has left the area. Like I was trying to fight. It was the first time. So there's a quest later on, or relatively late in the low rank, where it tells you you go fight a Rathalos and a Diablos.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that launches out of an expedition, and so you get the situation where it's like either you can go back and set up.
Yep.
Or you could fight this Rathalos right now.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to fight this Rathalos right now. And it was a hard fight, but I was damn fucking close. And then it despawned. I'd cut the tail off like it was fucking skulls. You know, it was fucking ready to go.
Yeah.
It despawned, and then a fucking fresh one respawned in its nest.
Wow.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's-
what the
that's how
fucking
Man,
fuck?
that's
And, like, I was
terrible.
so pissed.
Man.
It was just like
That's messed up.
yeah, it was like just a gigantic. I was like, oh well, that's 45 minutes. I just fucking I carved a tail, I guess. It was just a fucking waste.
Yeah.
And so I had to stop playing the game for the rest of that day, but ended up coming back to it.
Yeah.
It does come up with some creative ways to fuck you over.
Yeah, the expeditions are not the way to go out
Yeah.
and fight individual monsters.
I also didn't know that it would despawn like big boss monsters after you kill them if you don't carve them fast enough.
Mhm.
Like I killed a jag. I mean, granted, it's a great Jagras. Like, who cares? It's not that useful. But I killed one and had I think it was a Puke showed up like as it was dying, and I was like, oh well, I'll put some damage on this thing and get both. Like 90 seconds of hitting that thing before it ran off, I turned around and the Jagras corpse was just gone.
Yep.
Those carrion work
It's
fast.
crazy.
Have you seen like the carrion like
No.
swoop in?
Yeah,
yeah,
they'll fly in. And,
they'll fly in and
that's
start
cool.
eating it and
Huh,
stuff.
that's neat.
It's really neat.
The first high rank monster I fought is also an expedition thing of like, oh my god, there's this, and then it's literally you could fight it right there or return to base and go back out. I was like, I'm gonna fight this right here, having not learned my lesson from last time.
Right.
But I did kill it. It took some time, but I think it might have been a Rathian, not a Rathalos, that showed up.
Was it green?
I don't know.
Okay.
Dragon thing.
Yeah, but they're both kind of. Yeah, it's
They're
a
very
dragon thing.
Everything
yeah,
on some
the,
level is
you know,
dragon.
the dragon thing, in
Dog
Monster Hunter.
dragon,
Yeah.
flying dragon.
Horse dragon.
So it showed up at the very end of that fight, and I had killed what I was hunting, and then died to the Rathian, and then had to fucking haul ass back before the corpse decomposed to carve it, and then so I'm like frantically trying to carve this thing as this monster is knocking me out of the carve. It was an expedition, so I didn't have the timer at least, but it was still like I was like I hit it enough times, and the cat drew it away. I'm like, okay, carve and then quit expedition.
Pick up some poop, man. There's
I was
dunk
about to
pods
say,
out
yeah.
there.
Oh
yeah.
right, yeah. I've never used one. I've picked up a ton of poop.
Pick up some poop.
That's
What does that
just
do?
my way.
Dung, yeah. Pick up dung, and then you can craft it into a dung pod. So use that as slinger ammo.
Okay.
Shoot it in the face of a monster, and they'll usually take off.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't really blame him.
Right.
Get in the
Yeah.
face-
This
face-
guy's
face full
shooting
of poop.
shit at me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mess with him. He's fucking crazy.
Yep.
Some John Arbuckle shit there.
Don't wanna-
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a little messed up.
The game is so cool, but it just feels like it's like actively defying you at every turn sometimes.
Little bit.
A
little bit like
me and Vinny, like I invited Vinny last night just to get him into our squad, which is like a bad enough process on
Yeah.
its own, how
Yeah.
arcane all that stuff is. But once he was in there, he's like, hey, let's do something. And then it took us like 20 minutes to figure out how to get in the same expedition together.
really?
Yeah. Like we finally figured out he started an expedition and then shot an SOS flare.
Sure.
And then I had to search for it, but I set the search parameters too tightly and it didn't come up with his thing and I couldn't figure out why. It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's
I
just
feel like I have to
just
apologize for.
parts of the game just feel like they're out of 2005.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah,
there are parts like I think their patch notes they just hit today are just like, hey, we know some squads broke, and if you were in a broken squad,
Yeah, they,
we
like,
had to remove
disbanded
it.
some
Yeah, they
stuff.
disbanded.
Oh man.
It was the only way they could fix it, I
Oof.
guess. So some people will have to start over on that. It sounds like they're having some matchmaking problems on Xbox One, where just like it's not like you're just not connecting to
Yeah,
other
I think
players.
that's like persistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are still having a fine time with it, but
yeah, I mean, I haven't had any like
they've addressed
network issues. It's like it's just been, hey, the way this game is built is weird.
Yep.
Kind of once you wrap your mind around that, you can get stuff done more or less.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, I had a
takes a
couple
while.
of good, like fighting that Diablos. I had a couple of, like that was the first fight that I lost. That was the first quest that I had like just outright failed.
He definitely seems like he's one of the hurdles.
Yeah,
like you gotta like rethink how you fight this guy, or like respec.
So yeah,
respec,
so
or, like,
it
make different armor.
It ended up being a case where like, okay, well, there's like a new like dragon bone version of the weapon I'm using. Like I can go craft that. It does dragon damage, which he's 2-star susceptible to, so maybe that'll help. And I'll spend these armor spheres, and so actually like coming at it. Like taking some time and going like, okay, let's fucking actually jump through the hoops to fucking do this like the right way. And then I went back and fucked that thing up.
Yeah. How'd that feel?
It felt like, like, man, I wish I hadn't wasted 50 minutes last time. Like, I wish you could fail
came
faster.
Back in. You wish you could fail faster
on that stuff, instead of just like, hey, you blew almost an hour on this.
I think it's
fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're taking the knowledge, going back in.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
That's kind of video.
But
games,
it
I
ends
guess.
up like so many of the fights are so repetitive that between monsters, not just the same monster a second time, that failing one it's that feeling in like
hurts.
It's
It
that
hurts.
feeling in Forza games where they added the rewind stuff for a reason, because if you're doing these huge endurance races and you fuck up on the last turn and lose, you're like, well, that's an hour and a half I just fucking wasted for nothing.
Do you want checkpoints or something? In the
I don't
fight,
know.
or,
I don't think that's the answer, because
Right.
I don't think that. I don't think that would make it better.
I don't know how to get
like
around.
It's inherent to the nature of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's frustrating, but I think that's, you kind of have to.
It does make
changing it would fuck it up more.
It does make that next time where you do get it a lot sweeter. It raises the high of it, but it also raises the aggravation. So it's just like
it changes those fights, and I felt this a lot of those fights, and it's always a bad feeling to get from a game, especially one that I'm like largely really enjoying. But too many of the fights in this game, because of the time involved or some of that other stuff, I've come away from them thinking, well, at least I won't have to do that again. Like, okay, well, I've checked that off. The story will progress. Like, if I fight another one of these, it's because I want to.
Oh, wait till
because I need something.
Wait till you get to do some delivery quests.
Yeah,
excellent.
right.
Carrying
That's
an
not
egg around.
that's not a great thing to say about a game in which you do exactly one thing.
Yeah,
which is hunt big monsters.
So I built a switch axe and started.
I was just gonna ask if you changed weapons.
No, but I upgraded a switch axe with the gear that I had.
Are you having fun with that?
It's neat.
I meant change from the dual blades.
No, I mean like yes, I built a switch axe and started using it. Yeah. I went out and fought a great Jagras with it just to get a feel for it.
Did you get it so hot that you stuck it in the monster's body?
Yeah, I fucked that thing up, and you start doing slash attacks that then have additional attacks that just fucking pop off afterwards. You're like, that's neat.
Yeah.
But like that's a whole learning process. Like if I wanted to get back up to where I am in the game.
Yep.
The amount of time I would have to spend getting better at the switch axe, I don't know if I want to dedicate that kind of time to it. So instead I was like, oh, actually, like I'm still like making a lot of progress with these dual blades, and that's going to be an easier way for me to see more of the game and get more of the armor and all the other stuff than it is to start over from scratch with the switch axe. It's fun. So I don't know. Like I built one, and maybe I'll go back to it.
It seems like whenever I play with people who are much higher rank, that's when they get their chance to try out other weapons.
Yeah.
Like if you go in with and are doing a mission you've already completed or something.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm just branching off into, going back to some of the other weapons that I used early on.
Sure.
I used the bow for pretty much the entire game. But
yeah, I think when I'm making progress, like that's been when I've been at my most effective is with the dual blades. So
yeah,
it makes sense when I'm playing alone, trying to progress, do that. But yeah, if I'm helping out other players or doing something like that, I would probably switch back to that switch axe just to fuck around with it, because it's neat. The attacks are fun.
Vinny picked up the charge blade.
Yeah,
I tried that for a while before settling.
I talked to him about that last night.
He was losing his fucking mind showing Dan how to use it. He's so excited about it.
Yeah.
It's It's infectious.
It's fucking neat.
He started
really
with it,
cool,
which
yeah.
is insane because I tried to start with it and I was like, nope,
Yeah.
this is too much.
Yeah, it's a really I spent
love
like
that.
20 minutes with that thing in training going like this. There's some fucking really cool shit
Yeah.
you can do with
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
thing.
Switch axe is like baby charge blade, basically.
Yes,
Like
that's-
charge blade is the real shit.
Yeah,
Switch axe is like a simple version of that.
kinda. Or it's the opposite of like when you transform. It's like you build in one and dispense with the other.
Yeah, there's just
or-
way more
or, yeah.
mechanics to the
Right.
charge blade.
Yeah, because you gotta like, suck in the vials and stuff.
Yeah.
I just got to the point on the weapon tree where I'm getting like unique named weapons instead of just like, Bone Axe 3.
Oh yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
Like on the Anjanath tree, it's not just like a generic name, it's like Flamin' Bile.
Flaming- Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And it looks like there's like half of an Anjanath crammed into that thing, and it just
Yeah.
looks super crazy and ornate.
Those are really cool.
It's yeah.
It's really cool. It's hard. There are things I see about it that go like, man, I wish this stuff was better, but I sure as fuck don't have the answer as to how it would get there. Because it's like checkpoints would be a bad solution.
Yeah.
To that,
Right.
running back after dying is a hassle. I don't know. Like maybe that could be like a fast travel. Like, hey, just fucking grip on this bird and we'll take you back to at least the entry point of the area where you died.
I did notice last
I don't
night
know.
when you faint, it'll spawn you at the closest
Yes,
camp, and
it
not
does
the,
do
not-
that.
Not the one you
Right.
started at, which is like
which yeah,
That's a big
pretty,
help.
But that's
pretty
a-
low bar, but like,
right. It is a big help. It is a big help,
Something.
especially like if some of these fights are down to the wire. If you're just not doing the damage you need to be doing, and you're like, well, I'm gonna need every minute I got.
Yeah.
Like that stuff certainly helps. Yeah, I don't know. I think some of it is just like this is the nature of this game, and it kind of has to be that way in some ways. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know how to.
Yeah,
It's not sinking its hooks into you like it has.
I mean, what I
other
fucking
people.
played 30 hours of it. It's,
Right.
It's and I'm
Yeah.
I'll probably play more. Like it's doing fine.
Mhm.
But there are definitely things about it
There are
that I'm
things
coming
that
away
you're
from going like,
getting
all
hung
right,
up on, and
yeah, it's just kind of
I gotcha.
fastest selling Capcom game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
6
announced.
Sure.
million
So
now.
probably they'll take another stab at it.
Maybe you think they'll make another one of these Monster Hunter games? I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe you'll get a better Monster Hunter after this.
Yeah.
Well, specifically, they'll make another console one because,
Right,
those 3DS games can't have been that expensive to develop compared to this.
I
So
wonder.
guess the question was, would this big console one take off, and
Right.
would they stick with it there?
I mean, I wonder how expensive this was to make, really, on account of like, you look at the number of areas and environments
sure,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. Like it's not a
I mean, it's
not a
no,
ton.
it's no like Resident Evil or something.
Yeah.
But compared to a 3DS game, it's
Sure.
a bigger undertaking for sure.
Yeah, you're right there. I don't know. I want the fucking Horizon armor when that hits.
Yeah, have they said anything?
It's like
about-
this.
I don't think
week?
they set a date, but
I thought they
I'm
showed
not
it
Sure.
and said, "Hey, the quest is coming very
very
I
soon.
feel like it's coming very soon."
More to the
Yeah.
point. More to the point. Did they say what rank you need to be?
I don't think that they have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think the Ryu stuff is going to be like 11, maybe.
I gotta
But-
start grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to like frantically hit the right rank to do the Palico Horizon quest on the last day.
Like I imagine that stuff's going to circle around at some point.
Yeah,
you
surely
know?
they'll roll it back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Yeah.
What else y'all playing?
That's all I need, man.
Yeah.
That's all I fucking need.
I have been playing some Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
All
Neat.
right.
Yeah. That Super NT is out.
Mhm.
And we played around with it for a couple hours last week.
Yeah, we could have gone all day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We had a great time.
It's the Super Nintendo, So
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of games.
It is what it purports to be.
Yeah, it's
Fucking super.
But what it was meant to be is pretty awesome. So like
right.
that's not-
It's this thing's for people who haven't seen it. It's a Super Nintendo clone, more or less. It's $190, and it's got HDMI out on it, and it is built with accuracy in mind. I think I think a lot of the questions people are going like, why would I get this over
like a Retron.
like a Retron? And like I feel like the answers are like it depends on how much you actually really care about this shit, because like the Retron illegally used open source emulators in a way that was not in line with their like the GPL or whatever license they were using.
Oh, they messed that up.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Huh.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
So they're kind of taking the work of these emulator authors. The emulators they used in the Retron, not as not as accurate as some of the other stuff out there. But in ways that you might not notice. So it's sort of a weird yeah, look, this thing is more accurate than that thing, but not, it's going to play Super Metroid fine. Like, you're not going to go like, oh man, this is broken, So I think for a lot of people, they might not get why this thing is cool. And I think part of it is like, they're using an FPGA, which we talked about on the show before. It's, they can kind of program it in a very accurate way. They get kind of zero latency out of it. So it's a good low latency device, which to get a Super Nintendo into a modern TV without introducing latency or having the picture look like a bunch of fuzzy shit is expensive.
Yeah.
You're out there buying FrameMeisters or the open source scan converter. You're fucking getting SCART cables and like all
Hundreds
this
of dollars.
Yeah,
and then even at the end of all that, it's still not perfect, right?
Well, it is. It's a trade off, right? Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be an analog signal in some form coming out of this thing, right? But it is the original hardware, so you will have the compatibilities and the idiosyncrasies that are true to that original hardware. Duplicating that hardware in any form, you're gonna, there are trade-offs. Like, you get a digital signal out of that thing, it looks clean as shit, looks fucking great.
It really does.
And the FPGA programming, the way it emulates a Super Nintendo is down to the skill of the people involved. In this case, we talked about Kevtris before. He's done fantastic fucking work.
Yes, in Kevtris we trust.
Right, yeah.
Got a good reputation.
Yes, definitely. So, that thing's been very accurate, and also the times in where we've found cases where it is not accurate, they've been pretty receptive, or like Mortal Kombat 2 is the case. So we got it before release, and so the launch firmware is version 3.9. Well, actually, I think if you got the system as shipped, it would probably come with 3.6 on it. But I think 3.9 is the current firmware last I checked. And some of the one firmware in between there, like 3.8 or something like that, Mortal Kombat 2, the graphics were garbled. And so that was a moment of just like, for this thing, they were talking about the intense accuracy of this for a somewhat popular game to be hosed. Yeah. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
That was the moment that the ideal was brought back down to earth for me. It was like, oh, this thing is not infallible.
It is still someone reverse engineering a Super Nintendo, or like finding ways to make a fake Super Nintendo so the cartridges think they're running on the real thing. Yeah. And that's going to come with that's a process.
Right.
But
I had bought into the narrative of, this thing is just a Super Nintendo. Like, the cards can't tell the difference.
Right.
But that's not quite true.
But also they fixed that within 48 hours.
They were super on top of that. Right?
And so it comes down to
fixing it was as simple as downloading a file, putting it on the SD card, throwing it in
exactly. It's like a 4-minute process or something.
How do you guys feel about that MK2 port?
Which
now?
Oh, now it's
MK2.
not useful.
Yeah.
If you
think
back then
it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Right. Back then it was like the best way to play. Yeah. Back then it was the best way to play Mortal Kombat 2 without going to an arcade.
Yep.
And then the PC version of MK2 came out, and even though you were playing it on like a 4-button Gravis pad, so they would have to merge the punches, the highs and lows into one button. It was still. That was still like the quality of the graphics and the sound and stuff like that were way better than the SNES version. So that kind of became the standard. MK1 was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
That became the best way to play it. And now, getting your hands on the arcade version of MK2 and making it run on a PC or a console, like buying it, whatever you end up doing, like there are ways.
Oh, it's trivial. Yeah.
So you would only go back to that Super Nintendo version as a curiosity,
totally,
or if you had some specific nostalgia for the way it handled business. And so we talk about it a lot because there are a lot of people who write in and say like, oh, you should really stream some Amiga games, and I or some Spectrum games or some of this kind of more Europe focused stuff. And every time I sink into the Amiga library and try to figure out like what's the stuff that stands out, it's a lot of stuff that in this day and age maybe like a bad port of like it's interesting to see the Amiga version of Street Fighter 2, but you would never play it.
Sure. Right.
And so the library is like smaller than I think a lot of people think it is, who were like very steeped in that scene back then, who think of the Amiga as being this huge thing. Like all these games were there, like all these arcade games and all this other stuff. It's like, well, yeah, that's great, but like I'm not going to go play this version of Outrun because I can play the real version of Outrun pretty easily now. And it's made a lot of libraries back from those days of arcade ports and all that other stuff a lot smaller. When you start to think about like what are the releases that are still relevant today.
The SNES version did have that cool like endurance mode. Do you remember that versus thing? I think you held like L and R when you hit start or something,
vaguely,
and you like pick. I think it was like each person picked 4 characters.
Yeah, it was like a team battle mode.
Yeah,
almost.
it was like it wasn't a tag thing, but they would like lose one, another one would jump in. Like,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Huh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So with the Super NT and going back and playing these SNES games, was there anything that stood out? Any games that kind of surprised you, like going back to like, oh, this is actually really
You mean
good.
on that stream in particular?
Or you just
No, I mean,
would say the
with
lineup
that.
on that stream was maybe
I think that's
a little questionable.
yeah. I mean, that dirty Toy Story cartridge I had was
Did you ever try to run that?
no.
Probably don't want to put that
I didn't
in
want
the
to put
NT.
that into it.
That was,
Yeah.
that was grody.
So that's kind of the other thing, is that there are other options for highly accurate Super Nintendo emulation in software. And a lot of people are down on software emulation because of, especially with the Super NT coming out. I think that's kind of reignited this kind of like a little debate. It's maybe not as big as we're even talking about, but there have been ways to play Super Nintendo games for decades.
Yeah.
Sure.
And those ways, those emulators, like hobbyists are out there creating free things on the internet that will play Super Nintendo games. And I went out and bought the Retroad. I can dump all these carts and all this other stuff.
I did dump a bunch of carts
Yeah,
with
you
that
dumped a bunch of
Retroad.
carts, yeah. And so there's no shortage of ways to play SNES stuff. So I don't know that I was necessarily surprised by it, because like I've had a lot of SNES games be more or less a couple of clicks away for a very long time now.
But this is a good excuse to like
Yeah.
actually dip in on those instead of just having them and be like,
Sure.
oh, I'll play.
Well, I think like the ready access to like the if you want the full library, like having that ready access actually kind of de-incentivizes you to play through them completely.
Yeah.
You don't just like sit down and play a game. It's like it's usually like, oh, I need to remember, like, was this music this? And it's like I'll load a thing up and look at it for a couple minutes and go like, and play a little bit of it and go, okay, right, and then not play anymore. And I think that's a weird phenomenon that like a lot of the emulation stuff on the PC is like kind of caused, is like everyone dipping into everything for like a little bit and never like fully committing to a game. So hooking up to a TV and it being this kind of like more focused thing that is not on the same PC that you have 9 other windows open on is kind of cool too, for whatever that's worth. But stuff like Hygan out there is like a highly accurate Super Nintendo emulator, and the people talk a lot about the latency, but like that's something that is way more under control these days than it was even 5 years ago, in terms of just like button presses on USB controllers translating to on-screen movement on your PC.
Actually, I messed around with that thing over the weekend with those carts the ROMs that I dumped off my carts, and I was like dropping frames in Super Mario World and stuff. Like that thing is the one that's like super like cycle accurate, like super duper hardcore.
It is
right?
designed to be a very accurate Super Nintendo emulator.
Is it just that heavy on the CPU?
It is heavier than
that it would,
all the old busted shit like Z-SNES and all this fucking garbage that people are still clinging to.
Because I've got like a pretty fast computer.
Well,
I was like surprised to see that it wasn't
I'm
even
guessing
running
that
super smooth.
that's some settings on your end that you could probably play around with, because like any reasonably modern PC should be able to handle the SNES library in that emulator.
Sure.
In the accuracy profile. But I don't know. Like the developer of that is making a lot of changes all the time, and I think made a change in favor of accuracy. And the developer's like, hey, look, this is actually going to impact performance in an even crazier way than this thing already does, but we're trying to be accurate here, so deal with it. Which I think is like a good way to go.
It's a pure philosophical approach.
Yeah, and then people are taking, that's an open source emulator, so people are taking that and going like, well, what are some speed hacks we could throw in here that reduce the accuracy in a way that most people won't know or won't notice, and then we can port that to a libretro core or whatever, like all this other stuff that ends up being like more mainstream accessible for people that are into that stuff, that just want to play the games. So yeah, I don't know. Open source emulations led to a lot of weird shit over the years. It's good, but it's led to a lot of stuff of just like now you've got. I feel that for the people who maintain MAME, because current MAME does not run great on a Raspberry Pi, but fucking tons of people want to just take a Raspberry Pi, fill it full of arcade games, and then build it into a cabinet. They don't want to spend the money to put a proper PC in there.
Sure.
They're just like, oh, we'll put a Pi in there. It'll be fine. And then they have to run a super old version of MAME to get there that is then less accurate, sometimes doesn't support the same files. So if you go look at like the MAME subreddit or any place where like people perceive to be a support channel for MAME, it's people going like, how do I get the good ROMs for MAME 087 or, like 78, some old ass fucking version of MAME? And just like the people that fucking are still working on this thing and making it more accurate and better, just like,
Yep.
You get the sense that they are just like fucking like 5 minutes away from saying, fuck you people.
Seriously.
Instead they say, you should probably run a newer version than this.
On a better piece of hardware.
On not this, this hacked up fucking Raspberry Pi thing.
Not a $35 thing.
Yeah. It's a fucking weird thing that I guess is kind of back in the news with all the Billy Mitchell stuff.
Yeah.
Because those older versions of MAME are even less accurate for something like Donkey Kong, which has been, playably emulated for decades in ways that like people don't, they're like, whatever, I can play Donkey Kong, it's fine.
Yeah.
But they've made it more accurate over the years. I was reading something that they're currently working on the perfect Popeye. They're trying to get Popeye emulation to be more perfect.
Just go register perfect Popeye on Xbox Live.
Right, yes.
I tried to pull up his Xbox Live profile recently. I could not find it. I
Could not find a perfect
I
Pac-Man.
couldn't find perfect Pac-Man.
I mean, that was something that I think they gave that account to Billy Mitchell when Pac-Man came out on Xbox Live Arcade for the 360.
And I think he got all the achievements in that version of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And then never played the 360 again.
Yeah, and then never loaded it up ever again.
Yeah.
And it always made me wonder, even then I was like, I wonder if he actually played this or if they just unlocked the achievements.
Man.
Because of course.
I bet he played it.
Surely.
Yeah, he probably did play it.
He
Because
like,
I think they
Pac-Man.
had some photo op where he played some of it. But
I don't know. We will get to the
All
trustworthiness of Billy Mitchell's words.
Yeah.
There's got to be a tape of him, unlocking those achievements.
If
somewhere,
only they could
right?
find the tape.
Yeah.
We'll dig into that in a few minutes.
Anyway, I don't know. That's maybe a crazier rabbit hole to get into all this emulation stuff. Suffice to say, I think the Super NT is pretty awesome because of what it does for the money. If you wanted to get that out of a real SNES and the hoops you'd have to jump through to get there, it actually is quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah, it's extremely accurate. It's super easy, right? It looks really
Yeah.
good. It's just
It's a quality
It's not a
product.
ton of features,
It's not.
surrounding it, but
Yeah,
it
I
does
think that's the other
exactly what you want.
the other
if you want to
thing-
run carts,
Right.
and as accurate and good looking as possible, this seems like this is for that sort of enthusiast.
I'm left wanting more features.
Yeah,
Sure.
the biggest surprise to me is what it's not, based on what they did with the NT Mini, which could play at the end of its life, could play Game Boy and
not officially.
well, no,
Right.
no,
it's
but
just, it's a weird loophole of just
I know,
like,
I
well,
know.
technically they never advertised it as such, but yes, unofficial firmware
it was like
exists.
what 8 or 10 other systems
Yeah.
are now playable on the NT Mini.
Right.
So you kind of assumed that they would maybe do something similar, but it
Which
might,
they
that
never
might not be the case.
But also, I suspect that we will see something happen with this down the line. That unofficial firmware did not hit day one. That took some time to like. I don't think I bought an NT Mini until that stuff started happening.
Well, for me, it's when you get into like the Super NT is like half the price of the NT Mini. Like they're going a little more mainstream with this stuff to the point where it's because originally I looked at this thing and like, oh, surely there will be a Genesis core for this at some point.
No, because they would probably
But
much
that
rather
is
sell
exactly,
you a separate
that is
Genesis
exactly
unit.
it. Is that they probably are going to hold that stuff back for future products.
Right.
Like maybe they'll get to the point where it's like, all right, here's one box that plays everything up through 16.
That has been what Kev Trist has been out there talking about wanting to do for a long time. But now he's the Analog is paying him to write these cores, and it's
He's a company man now.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, we'll see how that goes. Maybe they end up developing this all-in-one device together, or maybe this eventually he's written all these cores and he can go off and do it on his own. Or I don't know what the end game is for this stuff. But it's neat. Yeah. It's a cool thing. I think for me, it's like I want the stuff that kind of it ends up being the modern conveniences that you get in an emulator running on PC, save states,
and,
cheat codes, like
Yeah.
just, being able to just like monitor
forward.
memory and do weird shit. Fast forward, like I could take or leave personally, but yeah.
As someone who played a lot of like SNES RPGs in college, fast forward
sure,
very much
right.
came in handy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if it would even be able to do that. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a really awesome device for a specific set of people. And those people probably already know about this and know they want one and all this other stuff. I think people that are on the fence, like it, I don't know. I still think it's like pretty inexpensive if you've got a lot of SNES cards
All
and
things
want like a good,
considered,
clean way to play them.
Yeah.
It's fucking neat. Yeah,
Works as advertised.
works as advertised.
Yeah.
It's a sexy little machine.
It's neat.
too.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
The different color
Good
schemes
look.
are a nice touch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I saw a GameSpot's video. They had like the US SNES color scheme NT next to a real US SNES and like colors, like everything's spot
all
on.
matched
Yeah.
up.
All yellowed and
Thing. They did not do a
there
yellow.
should, there should be a distress.
There should have been a
Super
yellowed,
NT
oxidized
that is just like
edition.
oxidized in some areas.
Yep.
Or they should have used the same. I wonder. Well, probably not. I was gonna say if they use the same plastic, it'd be great. If like in 10 years these things
Yellows
start
over
to
time.
I
yellow,
love it. Yeah.
that'd be fucking cool.
I always love hearing which parts of people's SNESs yellowed because like I think you brought yours in.
yeah,
right?
mine's
And
here still. It's
both halves of the shell of yours are yellowed. but
Really?
On
Yeah,
mine,
Huh.
only the top half is yellowed and the bottom half is still gray.
That's
Yeah.
with mine too.
So
when I went
does it-
home, I
mine-
looked at my old Super Nintendo.
the
they use
area
different types
around
of
the
plastic.
cartridge port is still the original color,
Yeah.
and the area around the controller ports is still the original color. But yes, both halves of the larger shell.
It's just like they sourced plastic from different
Yeah.
places or something. What
Yeah.
a weird thing.
Yeah, I forgot the science behind that.
Yeah. It's
There's
cool.
a gash in the top of my SNES, like cut into the plastic from like some.
When you
I remember
claimed
which-
it as yours.
Yeah, it was some frantic moment where it got yanked off of the top of the TV stand and fell and hit something on the way down, and it caused battle damage.
You defeated it in battle, and then you had to carve it for parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At the
yeah.
end. Super nice.
SNES carapace.
Yes. All right. Let's take a quick break and then come back and talk about some more stuff.
It's time to build.
Build what?
What do you, anything, everything.
man.
We need to build all of it.
Don't put the decision in my hands.
No, there's no decisions to be made.
Yeah?
Can it be built?
Don't think, just act.
Exactly.
Maybe.
We are building. We don't have time to build it from scratch because who would want to do that when Squarespace is right here?
I got this pallet of bricks.
Yes.
Gonna start laying them.
Lay these bricks and then maybe set up a site with Squarespace and sell some bricks.
Oh.
Whip some bricks around the internet.
I bet the pet shipping would get expensive.
Hey, look, that's on the part of the person buying the bricks.
That's right.
It is not your job.
Bricksinthemail.com.
That's right.
Let's do it.
I got bricks in the mail. Support for today's show comes from Squarespace.
Yep.
And if you're ready to start your new brick business, you can use Squarespace. They've got templates,
What kind of templates?
beautiful ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like it. Elegant.
exactly. So if you're building your brick store, you can turn that idea into a new and unique website. And then once it's up, it's easy. You can move on to the next thing. You can update this thing.
Yeah.
Bricks on bricks on bricks on bricks.
Brick by brick.
Uh-huh.
That's all I got.
Billionaires weren't built in a day.
Yeah.
Brick billionaires. That's me.
Brickionaires.
Brick and
Go on.
All right. You can customize whatever look and feel, settings, and products. So if you want to diversify from bricks, if you're like, hey, we want to sell bricks, and also these really fun pins that I make that look
Yeah.
like the characters from a variety of sci-fi shows, but
Ooh.
they're not licensed, so I'm certainly not going to say them out loud. Instead, it's just dashing captain.
Oh,
pin.
sure. That guy.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Thoughtful captain.
I like
pin.
his jacket.
Yeah, he's got a great jacket. You can do all of that. It's all optimized for mobile, so you know if people want to buy your pins and bricks on a phone, it's right there. You've got analytics that will help you kind of see like how are these bricks doing.
Yeah, maybe people are more into siding now. I don't know.
Yeah, who could say?
Yeah.
You could say, because you'll have the analytics right at your disposal. There's nothing to install, nothing to patch, nothing to upgrade. It's all right there on Squarespace's end. They handle all that business, so you can handle the business of business.
Good. I like it web-based.
That's right. Keep it on the web. That's where it belongs. And if you got a question, they've got 24/7 customer support right there to help you. You chat with them. You say, these bricks ain't moving. I've got to flip these bricks.
Can they give me business advice?
Probably not.
No.
But they could probably tell you if like, hey, the website, I'm messing it up here. How do I build it beautiful? They might have some input on that.
All right.
Destiny is calling.
Ooh.
You know what it says?
Ooh, what?
It says you need a new website.
Oh, man.
Make it with Squarespace.
I better get building.
That's right. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial when you're ready to launch. Use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com. Offer code BOMBCAST.
That was the beef stick.
Still processing. There's still a little bit left down there.
Still working it down.
Yeah.
Did you find it down there?
Yeah, I got it. I got it mostly in my mouth right now.
Best flavor of beef stick?
Something spicy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me something, pepperoni or...
Not like a teriyaki?
Nah.
Yeah, I would take a teriyaki beef stick.
Yeah, I would take one, sure, but
But not your first
that's not
choice.
my go-to. Yeah, peppery.
Yeah, sweet meat,
Spicy.
Not my first choice.
Hockey jerseys are on sale.
Oh.
Or like the order page.
Sweet meat.
Speaking of sweet meats,
The sweetest of meats. I would just received word that the hockey jerseys are
Official now.
oh, like as of right now.
as of right now.
Oh, wow.
If you go to giantbomb.com, there's a news story up with information about how you can acquire your own custom Giant Bomb hockey jersey.
What's the limitations on that, character-wise?
I don't know.
Oh, I saw somebody say what it was. I can't remember.
Is it like
I want to say it's like
12?
11 or 12, somewhere around there. I think.
Sweet. My last name will fit.
Yeah.
Let me
that's
see if mine. 2, 3. Yeah, mine will fit.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, those are up if you're interested in that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's a nice looking garment.
Yeah. They
Quality.
came out really nice.
Yeah.
For clothing enthusiasts.
Well, of course, we would say that. But.
Yeah. That's,
I was honestly surprised by the like when Rory busted them out of that box. I was like
These things are
feeling them.
legit,
Like these are
man.
really nice.
Yeah.
that was the goal.
I feel that way about like I don't want to turn this into a plug hour, but like I have a couple of our shirts just like and
Because you were on one of them and you were like, I guess I should get this one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Fair enough.
It's like one of the best quality shirts I own. Like I wear it all the time around the house, and I never leave the house in it because it has my face on it, and that would be weird.
Seems reasonable.
Be like the guy wearing the band shirt to the band show.
No, that's like, that's like if you were in the band.
If you were Lars and
wearing-
you wore
yeah.
a Metallica shirt,
I would totally believe
I
that.
bet he would. I bet he
I'd be like,
has.
oh, yeah. Of course.
What situations would a person wear a hockey jersey in besides the obvious?
Casual.
Hanging out in front of a convenience store,
Okay.
Yeah.
giving a way too long stand-up-y kind of performance that you don't like to call stand-up, hosting
Sure.
a podcast. There's
Okay.
a lot of things you can do in a hockey jersey.
pumping gas,
Yeah, you can pump gas.
Yeah.
red carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it a lounging thing, would you say, or is it more of an out of the house?
I think if you were to start a rap group and you
Outerwear.
needed to...
It's a look
like,
kind of thing.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or like if you're hosting a thing for the big game,
Okay.
Mhm.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's I like hockey jerseys because, they're like a good size.
Yeah.
They're like a long sleeve kind of thing.
They got some bulk to them.
Yeah, and they're a
Heft.
little bit. I don't know. They feel more substantial than a football jersey.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like football, so I don't dislike hockey.
I like the idea of hockey. A
Yeah,
lot.
I love the idea of hockey. Absolutely.
I've never been
nice
to a
and
hockey
cold.
game.
Yeah.
There's fights.
Right. I
Yeah.
think
Those
I've
big sticks.
Oh,
Like,
I've
yeah.
acquired something of an active dislike for football.
yeah.
So I think like a football jersey would be like the next logical step.
What about an esports jersey? Those like nice, like
Those
those,
look like-
one that look like mech pilots wear.
But those just look like soccer
Like the team-
jerseys, right? Because they're just like
Yeah,
covered
there's
in
some of
brands
them,
and
but then there's
shit.
like the Team Liquid ones, which are all sleek and futuristic.
yeah,
That's us to a T.
yeah, definitely sleek, futuristic, giantbomb.com. That's pretty much the whole thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not opposed to it. Someone wrote in asking like, "Hey, after you do these hockey jerseys, what do you think about basketball jerseys?" And I was like, no. I mean,
No?
not anytime soon.
What
at
about basketball
least.
shorts?
I don't know.
Booty shorts.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
booty shorts.
Okay,
definitely.
Giant bomb on each of the cheeks.
Mm-hmm. That would.
Now we're talking.
Write it down. Write it down.
Writing it down.
Huh.
Writing it down.
How cold do you think it is in the hockey arena?
I don't know. That's ice, right?
I mean,
There
I'm
is
sure,
not like
I'm
synthetic.
sure,
that's
yeah,
one
it's
degree.
not like
sure they have-
synthetic ice.
I'm
It's
sure they
not-
have ways of keeping the rink frozen.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But is the arena itself cold? You got to
It's-
bundle. You got to
it's
bundle up when
chilly.
you go in there.
I've been to-
Have you been to one?
I've
Yeah.
been to a
Yeah.
hockey game, but I
Yeah.
don't remember.
It's chillier than
Yeah,
you would think, I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not sweltering in there. It's
Yeah,
not a fucking
like a
greenhouse.
nice-
It's better than
They got
like a
ice to-
hot baseball game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, the hockey jerseys are on sale.
Yeah.
It's been a year-long endeavor, so don't fucking ask about football jerseys or basketball jerseys right now. Anything like that, we'll kind of look and see if people are into this. And
Yeah.
then
Is
we'll
that
kinda
sizing
maybe
video
go from
up?
there. I believe the
It's
sizing video.
important to note that sizing works. I mean, not like differently, but Hockey jerseys are big.
Hockey
They're supposed
jerseys
to
are
run
big
a little
'cause
big.
You're supposed to wear pads, so your size might be
We have a video on the
large.
page that you can watch about.
Yeah, and I believe the measurements are there as well.
Because
so
there's
you
no
kinda-
returns.
It's a custom item. You can put whatever your own name or whatever name you want on the back. So yes, you can't take returns on them.
So make sure you get it right.
Yeah, don't get it wrong.
On the upside, because they're made to order, we're not going to sell out immediately.
Yeah.
'Cause if you buy one, we make it.
We're going to
one
sell for
for
a limited
everybody.
time.
Yeah,
the
it's not going to be available
pre-orders
forever,
for a limited
but
time.
it's
but
not
yeah,
it's not a limited quantity.
Right.
thing
Yes. It's not
necessarily.
like you do not have to wake up at a certain time and enter a fucking drawing to maybe get one.
Yeah, I saw a lot of PlayStation employees. Was it this weekend or
Yeah,
last
that was
weekend?
this weekend.
It was this weekend. A lot
Yep.
of PlayStation employees I follow on Twitter very disappointed that they did not get the PlayStation shoes.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I happened to be awake. I woke up and then saw on Twitter, they're like, oh, there's 20 more minutes left on the drawing for these PlayStation shoes. I was like, oh, I think I have that app installed still, and loaded it up and said, yes, put me in the drawing. And then 20 minutes later, it said like, nope. I was like, okay, great.
Oh, man.
I don't think a single person I know got any. I don't know how many they made.
Yeah.
I don't know how
what's
many
the
they
limited
made
to?
either. I don't think they said. I think those things. I was reading that maybe they are going to retail tomorrow in a limited fashion,
Okay.
like at Foot Locker. I don't know if it's like a location specific thing
Line up right now.
or what, but yeah, fucking shoes, right?
I just wonder if that's the only way to get that theme.
Oh, yeah, probably.
There's a code for a theme literally on the back of one of the shoes, on the heel
Yeah.
of the shoe.
Right.
If
I
I,
mean,
if I bought
yes,
it,
probably.
I'd be pissed.
What if people pull those shoes out of the distribution chain and use that code because it's right there on the shoe?
It's just a theme. I think more likely you would get people that get them and go, check out my shoes, and then take a picture of them for the gram, and then people go, fucking, I'm using your code, dumbass.
Check out my new credit card that I bought these shoes with.
Yes. Yeah, I did not see a lot of happy people. It was the first time I jumped through those hoops for like a fucking shoe release in a good long time.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of how fucking broken that whole process is. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want these shoes? Better pay 3 times their retail value from a website that does not give any money to Nike or Adidas. That seems like a fucking good way for them to run a bit. Well, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Talk about this for an hour.
Yeah, they're probably doing fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Ben, how's your Fortnite going?
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going really well. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I had probably the best experience with internet randos on a team that I've ever had in like video games this last week
with voice chat, or
kind of.
did you communicate in other ways?
There was communication happening.
Okay.
So I queued in for a game. It was my first game of the day, and then I ran to the bathroom, came back, and I was falling down with all the AFK people at the end of the drop, you know?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, oh shit. And so I, start veering off to just land somewhere safe, pick up a few things, get a kill, pull up in my map, realize I'm on a team with two other people. I accidentally queued for squad. So first of all, I'm like, okay, great. I'm just alone in this squad. Like, it's basically 1v4v4v4v4v3,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're on the complete opposite side
Oh
of the
no.
map.
It shows you where they are, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just see their little triangles on one corner, and I'm on the other corner, and the circle's kind of in the middle. So I drop a pin kind of in the middle of us, and I'm like, hopefully these guys will run to it. I start like pressing all the buttons to see if I have push to talk bound. I don't, because I rebound like all my keys first thing.
Oops.
So I'm going. I get another kill. I'm like doing pretty good. I got some pretty good loot, and I end up in a sniper battle.
Do squad games in Fortnite have a down but not out, like a revival?
Yes.
Okay.
So I end up in a sniper battle with some other people, kind of on like 2 sides of a mountain with a ravine in the middle. And we're just shooting back and forth, and I get hit and I'm down. And I pull up in my map and I see that they're like beelining straight towards me. And I hear on the mic, "Don't worry, dude, we're coming to get you." And I realize it's like 2 12-year-old
Aw.
friends who queued up together.
Nice.
And so they're running up to me. I'm like crawling down the side of this mountain. One of them gets to me and starts building this huge fort around me and like sniping from the top of it. The other ones are rezzing me. Like, these kids know how to play.
Nice.
So we're finally together, and I'm there with my friends EV78 and Butt Scratcher 89.
Okay.
Which are weird numbers because I guarantee you those weren't the years they were born because they were for
yeah.
sure children. And And so I'm following them, and then they start like talking to me, and they're like, "Why aren't you talking?" Blah blah blah, and I just start dancing at them because it's literally all I know how to do.
Does it not have text chat?
It might, it very well could. I didn't have time to like pull open options, but the cool thing is I started learning some like tricks from them of just like, you know, we ran up on this thing, and they started building like these alternating staircases so they could attack from both sides. They split up so they could both hit a house that people were camped out in from like, and I'm just like standing there kind of throwing grenades and like I'm helping.
Yeah.
You know, and it gets down to the end where another one of us gets knocked. His friend starts reviving him. I start building the fortress around him because I'm like, oh shit, I know what to do. I know how to do this.
Nice.
And we ended up winning. We got down to like a 2v1 situation, and I clutched out the last kill. And I was like, this is amazing. This is like, I never would have had this experience on purpose because I wouldn't have never queued for, because I was playing, what happened was I was playing squad games with some friends the night before. And so I didn't switch it off. And I was like, man, playing with random people on the internet has never been good. Like, as somebody who's been playing Dota for several years and fighting games.
I think what you're actually finding is that Dota has never been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to queue it because like I feel like I will never get something close to that again. I feel like that was a once in a lifetime experience. I don't want to risk it. But yeah, I'm still having a ton of fun with the game. I just saw that it passed PUBG and concurrent players.
Yeah.
Like
Do you think
3.7 million or something?
3.8, 3.7, 3.8? Yeah. Do you think that for right now, and this this genre is still evolving, so it could change? Do you feel like PUBG and Fortnite are respectively the Dota and League?
I feel like it's not a direct comparison. I feel like there's differences within each, but I think in the fact that these are the two main ones, and anyone else, like others might come close, but there's not going to be another battle royale game bigger than either of these two.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing I'm trying to puzzle out is like, is someone else going to come along?
I think
And
somebody mentioned this on Twitter, and I've been thinking a lot about it recently. Is like Dota and League, each of these games has carved out a really passionate fan base around the individual games.
Yeah.
That the idea of a third game coming in and drawing players from both seems impossible.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like PUBG is the game that could get knocked here, though.
Yeah.
Like the same way Fortnite seems to be doing it to PUBG. Not that PUBG is like fucking on the skids or anything like that, but you know that it has come along and is now like being able to say like, hey, we're passing. Which, to be fair, the game is fucking free.
Yeah.
As opposed to PUBG, which is not.
Yes.
But
I think a lot of things. It has a lot of things going for it with like developer support. It seems like it's weird because you have to compare team sizes and stuff like that. But like Epic is turning stuff around really fast on it. Like even like there was a Reddit thread of a proposed new location in the map, and then they just added it. They just put it in the map. They added just a new location on the one map. Right. They don't have multiple maps yet. But
how do you feel about the shooting and stuff like that? Because that was always, I know they've been running tests. Like every time I've tried that game, I shoot for a while. You know, I get in a couple of matches and the shooting feels too like loose or arcadey or whatever. I know that they've tested out some ballistics models and stuff. But
it is definitely still, and it's never going to surpass PUBG in the shooting category. I think
it's probably not going for that.
No.
And I think that's what was probably going to continue to keep me away from it because I look at it like it's fun. It's like it's more colorful. Like they're fucking around.
It's more actiony.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I like it more because I like hero shooters as opposed to like I like Overwatch versus like a CS:GO kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I like having abilities and I like movement focused stuff. Which is what like shotguns are super viable in PUBG, whereas. Or in Fortnite, where in like even if you're out in the open, because like if you can build your way close to somebody, you can just blap them. Whereas PUBG is like it's very much you can be good with shotguns, you can be good with those weapons, but you have to be good with a rifle. You have to be able to like get a pick with a rifle.
Yeah. I've won games with shotguns, but it's you have to dictate your whole play style is dictated by I found a shotgun, now I need to hide here or I need to do this and be very careful. I don't know, it's weird because in 999 times out of 1,000 I am almost gonna, I will side with the fun shooting game as opposed to the fucking accurate, like check out our
Sim,
ballistics modeling,
Arma-esque
thing.
modeling bullet drop off, and
But so far, like and it's been a few weeks since I played Fortnite, and maybe I'll give it another go here. But
it seems that they seem to have a new patch like every other day. Honestly, like
it's almost like they've shut down development on all the other games.
It's almost like all of Epic is working on the game right now.
You get like a pop up whenever there's a new patch for the first time, and I feel like I'm seeing them constantly. They just added a crossbow.
Yeah, I mean, that was that's what people said about Paragon. It's like, wow, they're always updating this game, and they had a hashtag like every 3 weeks. Like
in this case, you can't really blame them with the number of people playing that thing.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
have they passed 50 million yet? They must have. Right?
I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like the time from 40 million to 45 was like nothing.
probably.
Yeah.
So,
So,
it's weird. It's because I think the shooting just feels too. The whole game, like, it feels loose and goofy in a way that I'm just
I think
not
here's
liking.
my big question. Like the litmus test for me is like whatever the kind of meat and potatoes assault rifle
rifle.
is. If you just aim and hold down the trigger, how bad is the spray?
So they just that was the most recent
test
patch.
that they're
Test patch that they're running. I think it feels better. It feels more like a CS:GO,
Okay.
where it has a kind of vertical pattern that seems like the first shot is always accurate, and then from there it like starts to go up and down, kind of, as opposed to just a random
It's
spread.
not. Yeah, it's not like
which was
Gears or
before.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
that I guess that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it just gets fucking crazy like Gears.
Yeah, no, I think that's the stuff that they're trying to rein in, and give it a more predictable pattern at least. And I started thinking like maybe I should start playing Fortnite on a console because
A lot of
it
people
feels like a console
Yes.
shooter,
I totally think as far as like console,
but also having it matched in with PC, like having
Oh,
like,
is that- is
yeah,
it
like
just a
it's
cross match?
Was it PS4 and PC talk to each other?
okay.
Or is it Xbox and PC talk to each other?
I can't
'Cause that was the thing. They turned on the Xbox and PS4 matching,
Right.
Oh, that's
and
right.
then had to
That's
shut it off. They're
right.
like, oh,
Accidentally.
whoops.
Oh, weird.
Here's this thing we're highly capable of doing at the fucking flip of a switch. That whoops.
Mommy and daddy have to say yes.
Yeah, right. And so they're doing the thing where they're mixing
Huh.
mouse players with.
Yeah, that makes it a little stranger. But I do think of like purely in the PUBG versus Fortnite console experience, I think people are going to have a lot better time with Fortnite because
You don't think the building is like too much of a hurdle? Because I think that was the other thing is like, and it's the thing that keeps me from getting in on controller is because I don't think the building on controller is as good
I've
as
never
it is on
tried
PC.
that. It depends how
It's very doable. I think
quick-
their building
how-
is really smart.
how
but-
they how many buttons you have to work with to buy and stuff. Because like I have it right now where mouse wheel up and down will do stairs or floor, which like those are the two most common things
Yeah.
you're going to be building. So I can just like really quickly get those going. So if I can have those on like the D-pad or something, that would make it a lot easier. But if I have to like actually select which one I want from the build menu,
Yeah.
then that might be more of an issue.
Yeah.
Is all that stuff quick enough that you can pretty much be in a firefight and doing it at the same time? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like build, shoot.
Yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
seems like
Pe-
it. Yeah, from the
people
videos
people who
I've
are
seen.
good at it are like I can tell whether or not I'm going to win a firefight almost like out in an open field almost instantly by how quickly they are building stuff. Because like okay, so like the most basic thing is you run at the guy and shoot. Then I started building like a ramp up so you could like run up and shoot down. But now I'm seeing people who like build a stair and then build 2 stairs on either side where it's like now they're mixing up which way they're gonna go. Oh, and then they might just like go back down the stairs and go around, right? Because like the more stuff you build, the more chaos there is, the more options you have of like I'm popping out over here now, or just straight up running away. Sometimes people will like build a wall and then just book it. But yeah, I'm still continuing to have a good time with it at a pace that I didn't have for PUBG. I don't think I'm gonna stop playing PUBG. I've got most of my friends play that one, and like I come to those games for a squad experience over anything else. But yeah, I totally get it now. I totally get why it's still so popular on Twitch. Why like there's so many people playing it. It makes a lot of sense.
Cool.
Hearing all that makes me feel better about it.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Totally.
Like it just, when it first came out,
Yeah,
everything about it just
Yeah.
felt so shameless.
there's still just like a little bit there of just
Yeah.
like, come on, guys. Especially when you like click into the Save the World campaign, which is what Fortnite, you know, the
Oh.
original Fortnite,
Sure.
and you see like how barren it is.
I saw someone from Epic just over the weekend saying, "We've got lots in store for Save the World. Don't worry."
It didn't have that name when it first launched. When the
It
game
was
when
like Fortnite
first-
colon Save the
Oh, it
World.
did?
It was.
Okay.
I think that was used here and there,
Huh.
but it's
Okay.
probably something they have to lean into a little bit more now that they've got a just survive H1Z1 situation on their hands,
Yep.
where
Yeah.
like eventually they're just gonna have to rebrand Fortnite as this free thing, and then very much it seems like maybe they've already done it. And it's like, yes, Save the World mode. Yes, the
How many of these changes do you think are making it into like the Save the World campaign? Like you talked about bullet spray.
I don't think
you
it
talked
is.
about
I-
like
I
you know,
don't-
adding
Yeah, 'cause, like,
crossbows.
I think that thing is balanced completely differently.
Yeah.
And even some of the weapon stuff, because you know, like the weapons are coming off of cards and you're building them, and all this.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
the other mode is so fucking different that
It's just
Uh,
yeah, it's so interesting because you know this is made for it's a multiplayer game, but you're fighting hordes and stuff, dumb AI.
Yeah,
So like all these changes that they're making is tooling it towards
I'm honestly surprised
something completely different.
how well they manage, like how well this battle royale thing works in the engine, that like how well it accidentally works in there, because like the building thing adds a layer to it that I think is like unique enough from PUBG that it would attract a different crowd, and they just like kind of lucked it. Like shout outs to whoever at Epic, was the person who said like,
Dude, we should do
what if we just did this? We have this thing and it works, and
one of our licensees is doing quite well with
Yeah.
it. What if we?
Let's not think about this too hard. Let's just act.
Ugh. Yeah, that's the part again where I go like, ugh, something. Pit of my stomach feels a little grimy about it, but whatever. That's
Totally.
business, I guess.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
All right. You want to talk about some news? Anybody got any more games?
That's about it for games.
All right.
I played a game called Dig Dog.
Big dog.
It's a great name.
Good job, Jan. Good call.
big dog.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I played that as another game called Just Ski.
Hmm.
A couple of just little
What do
things.
you do in that?
It's a 100 people parachute out of a
On
plane.
the ski slope.
No, there's no skiing. It's weird. It's tribes.
What if
Wait.
Tribes PUBG. No, it's a fucking skiing game.
Okay.
imagine a ring of mountains
Okay.
all go, and everyone starts at the end of the ring, and everyone has a gun. Everyone starts at the top of the mountain
Ultimate
and are
biathlon.
skiing down towards the goal, and the first one to get to the goal wins, which is the bottom of the pit. It's just a hole. Let's just say it's a hole.
Kind of a race to the bottom.
Yeah, but everyone has a gun.
I'm too busy thinking about a tribes battle royale.
I know,
game.
right?
okay,
Sorry,
that's
as soon,
I
as,
can't
as soon as you
even-
said that, now I'm just like,
Shit.
man.
Anyway, Just Ski is you just move up and down on the mouse. It seems like something that could work well on phones. It's a very minimalistic approach of like 2D side view. You want to launch off of slopes while you're skiing by pushing up, and then once then you start spinning in the air. So if you pull back down and crouch, you'll spin faster. So you have to kind of line up your landing, and it gets harder and harder. It's a preset terrain, but each jump gets harder and harder. It's a couple of bucks. It's neat for what it is.
Yeah. Just ski.
Anyway, I didn't even mean to actually stop news. I was just fucking around.
I saw
Dig Dog is a cool fucking name.
Yeah.
The game is, you get a bone and the dog fucking flips out all nuts. It's kind of cool.
Do you dig?
Yes.
Is it a digger?
Yes, it is a digger.
Coming
Well,
off SteamWorld Dig 2, I would maybe
It is
play
not that.
Okay.
It is definitely not that.
Is it Dig Dug?
No, it is definitely not that.
Not even that, man.
Mr. Driller?
No.
No?
It's kind of a randomly generated terrain. There's some monsters in it. You can
Okay.
kind of dig down. You can dig to the side. You can bark. But you
I'm
kind of
in.
just collect a
Yeah.
bone, and then the dog fucking flips out, and then you move on to the next area.
Rad.
Sounds like my kind of game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That one's cheap too, right? I
Yeah,
thought I
it's
saw it
not.
was a couple,
It is inexpensive.
handful of dollars. All right, here are the news headlines of the world. Metroid Prime 4. Eurogamer had a story this past week that Bandai Namco is making it.
Yeah.
I guess that was on Reddit last year sometime. There was like some Nintendo rumors thread that showed up on Reddit.
Yeah.
People
Like-
have been doing some sleuthing.
Totally unsourced. This was just a random poster who claimed to be in the know, but
Okay.
they said exactly this then. The Bandai Namco was making Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, which I think we talked about because Namco has done work for Nintendo
Yeah.
in the past.
Mostly sports games, I think. Well, no, they did some other
F-Zero,
stuff
I
too.
wanna
Yeah,
say they did.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
Okay. Didn't they?
Yes, they did the Pokken tournament.
Oh,
I
right.
think, But then Eurogamer has got a story where they say multiple sources have confirmed to them that is in fact accurate.
Wow.
Specifically, the Singapore studio
Yeah. That's
of
interesting.
Bandai Namco, which This story says that studio houses some former LucasArts Singapore staff.
Yeah.
Who previously worked on Star Wars 1313.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have an update that they amended the story with that, if I am gathering this right, the Singapore studio started the project, but now Japan is taking over.
Oh.
Like they don't, but they don't paint that as a bad thing though. It's weird.
Sure.
Like they make it sound like Singapore is now taking on a new project. Maybe it is a bad thing. I don't know.
Who knows?
Did
Who
the
knows?
initial design, or maybe made some engine stuff?
Yeah,
and
it says since publication,
over?
I've heard Bandai Namco's Japan studio is also working on the project with the intention it will now take the lead on development while Singapore moves to focus on another Switch game.
Interesting. This is that's cool. Like,
Yeah,
still
yeah,
not
sure.
officially announced though, right?
No, they
announced the
announced the
game.
game.
They announced the game, okay.
Just the game. That was literally they just said a
Samus
name.
is hunting the ultimate bounty, Pac-Man.
Actually, the one thing they said was that Retro wasn't making it when they announced it. That was the only detail.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know what I want a Metroid Prime 4 to be. Like that
Yeah.
series, like they were all great, but I don't know, kind of diminishing returns on each one for me. Like they proved the concept and then kind of
Sure.
kept making them.
as someone who did not especially like any of those games, I would hope for a large departure. But that's
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just don't know how you make a sequel to the Citizen Kane of video games.
That's fair.
Good
They
point.
didn't even make a sequel to Citizen Kane.
Not yet.
Think how well they can.
If they have to reboot it first.
Yeah.
Think how well
gonna
they
be
can
a
make her
remake.
face reflect on the visor now, though.
Mm.
Think about
Um,
playing it in your hands, I guess.
Whoa. My hands?
You're looking around, and she looks around.
Oh, yeah, that's scan mode. You got to
Ooh,
stand
boy.
up and turn and all this fun stuff. That'll be good.
You got to take out the Joy-Cons and
Yeah.
wiggle them around.
Yeah, they're
to
a
turn
key.
into
I
a
got to
Nerf
put in the
ball.
key and do this,
I don't
and then
know.
swipe down and turn into a ball.
Put the wrist straps on and fling them around
Yeah,
to turn
that's
into a ball.
There's a
and
helicopter thing. You spin one over your head, and then you hold out the other one. You turn it this way
To
for
shoot
missiles.
3 missiles, you got to each shoot one
Yeah.
hand. And
PD Pablo's Metroid Prime 4.
Yes, exactly.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad somebody else is taking a stab at it if they had to make a fourth one. Maybe they'll bring something new to it. Also, this is like the third to last paragraph in this story. Like, I'm surprised this is not its own story. I'll just read it.
This is from Eurogamer?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the same Eurogamer story about Metroid Prime 4. This is earlier in the story they mentioned that some of these rumors started on LinkedIn. Like there have been some like job postings
Oh,
that
right. Yes.
obliquely refer to this stuff.
Yep.
So here they're referring to those LinkedIn postings. One staff member in particular, a lead designer, described themselves as working on an unannounced IP, first-person shooter / adventure exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. The staff member also listed themselves as overseeing work on an exclusive Ridge Racer 8 for Switch.
Whoa.
what?
Something Eurogamer has yet to verify.
Yeah.
So
Whoa.
maybe Ridge Racer 8 coming to Switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also-
I would love to see Ridge Racer come back.
What was 7?
7 was
Was
a
the PS
Forgettable
game. Yeah.
And 6 was the 360 game?
Right.
But they were kind of the same game?
They were kind of the same game.
like most of the same tracks?
A lot of the same tracks.
Even though they had different numbers on them?
Yep.
You guys can keep your Ridge Racer. I want another wave race.
Oh, yeah. Dude, yes.
It's a different thing. We could have both.
Yeah,
We should have
I'm
both.
fine with that.
Can't have both,
We should have both.
but we can't have
Man,
both.
they should really make another wave race.
Or Hydro Thunder.
Yes.
I don't know. It's the same thing.
I feel like
They
that was a
made-
generational thing.
But
Yeah, I think
Hydro,
so, too.
Hydro Thunder, there was that XBLA game.
Yeah, and
Mike-
that was okay.
And they did a bunch of phone games that were kind of
Oh, did they? Oh.
the same thing. It's just not.
What about Arctic Thunder? And it comes with a little fan you put on top of your
Okay,
Switch
all
that
right.
blows
If it comes with a
wind in your
fan,
face.
then I'm in.
Some labo.
But
you can
it's
make
made
a
out of cardboard. It's a
snowmobile.
cardboard
Yeah.
fan that spins at you.
Those games are a little faster than what I'm looking for out of a water race, though. Like wave race, like
Yeah,
the
you
way they
can take
bob,
in
the
the-
way they
yeah.
bob, and you have to like really dig into the turns.
Yeah.
And, like, if you know.
Yep.
Water physics have come a long way since the last time they made a wave race
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
that'd be
I would very much like to see a new one of those.
yeah.
Get to work, game dev.
Like that. that
but-
would get me playing a Switch on the internet.
But what if they made an all new Ridge Racer with
Yeah.
all new tracks?
Sure.
Okay, so here's the thing though. I bet they don't. I bet
Yeah.
Ridge Racer 8 comes out and it's all
It's
the
just-
same
it's just
fucking
the same
shit again,
but on the Switch.
but on the Switch.
That's my fear.
Like
That would be
they've
amazing.
put the same tracks out. Like
that would be so
there was that
good.
Vita game. There were like the PSP games that were like good,
Yeah.
but it was just kind of the same thing
They were,
again. And
yeah,
you're like,
all
man, what? Like
rehashes.
they just like, we rejiggered the way the turbo boosts work in this one, and the parts you can install to make. Do you want 3-stage turbo? Do you want a different? But it was the same fucking tracks.
Yeah.
What a dumb thing.
Yeah.
Make a new goddamn Ridge Racer. What the fuck are we doing? Where's
They're out
Reiko
of
Nagase
tracks.
now?
There's no more places to go.
None of those places were real places.
I don't know. That publisher's really been on an upswing the last few years,
Sure.
Namco?
Dark Souls and Dragon Ball Fighters and God, now I'm totally blanking. What was the other big thing they put out recently?
Naruto.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. God damn it! Now I'm totally blanking what other big game I was thinking of. But like,
Boruto?
Code Vein.
I totally had something else in mind, and it's totally
Is it God Eater?
it's probably God Eater.
One Piece.
Anyway, like the current Bandai
That-
Namco,
they
you
do that
could-
JoJo's game?
You could see them making the right decision on a new Ridge Racer potentially, maybe.
Ace Combat. Ace Combat's coming back.
Yeah, there's that.
That was
Yeah.
that to me was the signifying thing of just like, hey, the Namco you remember is open for business.
Yeah, totally.
And then on the heels, Tekken's back in a big way.
Tekken,
Yeah.
that was it. Tekken 7 is fucking super good.
They're doing another Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like Ridge Racer is kind of like one of the remaining things.
Pillars.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pillars.
That they're known for, yeah.
And I think Switch is probably a smart place for it to.
Yeah,
as
they
much
should
as
make a
like,
Switch.
as much as I would actually rather see a fucking 4K fucking insane Ridge Racer, like a
That's what I
platform
really
that
want,
doesn't
though.
have any other driving games, is probably a little closer.
It has 2018,
proper
2017 Game
proper
of the
driving
Year.
games. That is there's battling involved. That's a different thing.
Racing is rubbing,
Mm-hmm.
and battling is rubbing.
Rub this banana.
Ergo, racing is
Racing
battling.
is rub rabbits. So
QED.
Sega's making it. I don't. Yeah. Go on.
Okay,
News.
I'll go on to another piece of Nintendo news. They're going to start letting you buy games with gold points. Like the things that you earn for buying games, you will be able to use them to buy more games. So,
Wait, what?
What? Yeah, I still don't understand.
so have you ever signed into your My Nintendo account?
Oh,
Once,
no.
yeah, I think.
I
the
don't
thing-
even
do
know
they
if
give me
I
coins?
have my login.
I get an email all in Japanese about once a month that says I've got 30 of some kind of currency and 100 of some other kind of currency.
Yeah, it
Yeah, there's-
accrues as you buy games. As
Sure.
you, play games on their systems, you just get stuff.
What could I get before? Like strategy guides or
that was like the
Oh,
shit where it'd be
God.
like, hey,
Dr.
get a calendar.
Luigi.
And,
So this was
Oh,
no, that was Club Nintendo.
oh, right.
Club Nintendo had a bunch of physical goods you could get, but they were all
Right.
bad. I got my girlfriend a tote bag with Mario 1-Up mushrooms on it, which she likes quite a bit.
and you call that
Well, they're not all bad then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess, but
They really missed out on calling those a toad bag.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit.
I think the My Nintendo rewards are all digital, from what I remember. It's God, what is it?
It was that version of Punch Out.
something. I
Dr.
guess.
Luigi, man.
Yeah.
It's
Dr.
the thing.
Luigi, man.
It launched in 2016. I think it came out with Miitomo. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'd log
You
in
can
to
cash
the
in some of
account,
those
yeah.
for like extra fucking tickets in
Yeah.
Super Mario
Yes.
Run or whatever
Yes.
the fuck, right? Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, what it is, is a lot of those games have like specific achievements in them that earn you more currency. And
Yeah.
there's two kinds of currencies in there.
There
There's
is.
like silver and gold, I think.
Yeah.
And the gold ones are the ones you only get for buying games,
Okay.
I think. Or maybe you get a few for like playing Mario Run the first time.
Anyway.
whatever. Point is, those things
This
will
incredibly well documented
Yeah.
system.
right. I mean, if you sign in and poke around, you kind of get a sense
Yeah.
of how that stuff works. But
Do you need the full amount in order to?
yeah, they
like,
didn't go
redeem
into a
it?
lot of
Okay.
detail about that.
Like if I could get a discount, a
Right.
partial discount for those things,
I
that'd
don't
be
think
good.
that's the case. I think it's
That's my
All or
word.
nothing.
the best I've got in the statement that Nintendo UK put out a statement, but conversion rate is in yen. Anyway, in Japan, the
understands that?
exchange rate is 1 gold point equals 1 yen.
Okay.
Purchasing the digital version of a Switch, 3DS, or Wii U game gets you 5% back in gold points, but you only get 1% back for like physical Switch games.
Weird. Okay.
So
Sure.
Okay. All
there
right.
you go.
Cool.
buy
So
20
yeah,
buy 20 Switch games, get one free, I guess, is my
Digitally.
fuzzy math. Better than nothing, I guess. I don't know.
Better
better
than nothing.
than nothing.
The Nintendo Online Service Promise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not even 100% true.
I didn't say they're going to fulfill the promise. So just,
And then they had some investor stuff that some interesting quotes came out of that you were talking about.
yeah.
I couldn't find those quotes that you mentioned. but
It was it was I think there was a
Miyamoto
quote
stuff.
from Miyamoto about the Mario movie, kind of saying that he was really vibing with Chris whatever, who's the guy
Okay.
who was at the animation studio,
the Minions guy.
or the Minions, Chris Minions.
Oh, okay.
I think
would've-
is his
I
name.
would really love if his exact quote. I was
we
really
were
vibing
hella vibing
with that Chris guy.
That dude Chris had some ideas about Mario that I was hella into. Basically the gist of it was like, hey, we're gonna put our heads together because it turned out our creative processes were somewhat similar, and if we can't come up with a good idea, we're not gonna do it.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's Miyamoto's personal guarantee.
Yeah,
Miyamoto's like, I'm gonna play Mario, or nobody is.
yeah. Idea number one.
I could
Throw
see
it
him
down.
playing like Captain Toad.
God, that would be
Hmm.
adorable. Yeah.
What if he just plays himself? What if he becomes like the Stan Lee of Nintendo movies? And it's just like
He just like
yeah,
pops out of
yeah,
a pipe
yeah.
and he's just like,
I
I
would be
don't know
fine
what
with
these guys are
Yeah.
up to.
Everyone in the audience is like, oh, that's that guy.
He's gardening off to the
He
side.
was on Jimmy
yeah.
Fallon. I know
Playing
him.
a guitar in a garden, and then you're like, oh man,
Anyway, here's
That's the
World
dude.
1 2.
yeah. And then, gosh, there was another bit.
Think about the life cycle of the Switch.
That's
you
what
were
it was.
Looking,
yeah,
looking at trying
there was
to.
a quote from Miyamoto that was kind of saying like, "Hey, we would like this life cycle to be longer than the 5 or 6 years you normally see out of consoles."
Hmm.
Which, if you look at how they treat their handhelds and the life cycles that those things tend to have, being a bit longer, and you think of this as something that is intended to serve both halves of the Nintendo audience,
Sure.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, they're already kind of not playing the power game, so
Do you think that rules out sort of a like Switch XL or Switch 2?
No, I don't think so. I you know, if you look at what they did, that new, but also like, will they support it? If they did a new Switch, the same way they did a new Nintendo 3DS,
Yeah.
that is like, oh, it's got a faster processor, you're gonna get a little bit more juice out of it.
Like the whole thing is a screen. Like it doesn't have any of that border or something.
Yeah,
It's just like-
maybe it's bigger or something like that. But if the internals are any different, will the games actually take advantage of it properly?
Right.
Because with the new 3DS, it's not, you know, there are not that many games that require you to have it or even really benefit that noticeably
Yeah.
from it.
I wonder if
It's
they
like
ever
Fire
add like
Emblem.
some sort of upscaler to the dock. You know, the
Oh.
Like here's a 4K Switch
Oh.
dock.
yeah,
Oh.
something like that.
I wonder.
Something that can output at native 4K, so it looks halfway decent
Hmm.
on a 4K TV.
I wonder.
I mean, it runs on that NVIDIA ARM chip. and
Right.
Those things, presumably, they're just going to keep making more and better versions of that thing. So they
Yeah,
could just
it-
come
it-
out with another Switch with the next NVIDIA chip.
It
in
is certainly possible that they go that route.
I mean,
You know,
yeah.
almost like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, where they're just like, hey, here's the 2019 model of the Switch, and
right.
you know, it's better.
Like as
But-
much as a lot of people like snidely dismissed the Switch as just a tablet when it first came out, like that is one way that it is like a tablet. I mean, like the guts of it are just
Tablet guts.
tablet guts.
Yeah.
Blech.
So and those things get better rapidly.
Depends on how they're making the games, you know, like
Yeah.
or how much work would have to be done to ensure compatibility with the full library on a newer chip and all that other stuff. Like maybe that stuff comes for free, but I don't know.
Or maybe they just wait until like the next actual console, like Switch 2 in 8 years or whatever.
Sure,
And then it's just backwards compatible or
Yeah.
something. Who knows?
maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't make a follow up to the Switch in that exact form factor, and they
Yeah.
do something else crazy all over again.
They're in movies now.
Yeah.
I mean, God, we're entering what, year 7 of the 3DS? Didn't that thing came out in 2011,
That
right?
sounds right.
I think that's
I don't
right.
know.
Uh,
My life is a blur.
tell me about it.
Remember when they brought that thing by?
Yeah. That's why I remember what year it was because we were not in that office for that long. You're talking
Oh.
about when they dropped it off?
When they dropped it off and like had the
Chained
chain
it,
of women.
yeah.
with,
There were like 30
Did they
women
have
in
them
all
chained
white.
to the ladies?
I don't think they. You mean the 3DSs?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think in
'cause
that
they were
instance.
coming to our office to drop one off.
Right.
So
At-
no.
at,
I think I
Uh,
was there as an intern.
You might have been
might
there.
have
That was
been.
the basement on Front Street. At E3 is when they had
Yeah, I remember
models
that.
or like
Ugh.
spokeswomen with like 3DSs literally like chained to them.
Yep. That was
which is a little weird. But then
that
yeah,
was not
the
awkward at all.
drop off in the office, I think, was just like 30 ladies in like all white pantsuits, like filing into the office with the 3DS
Weird.
or 3. That was a very strange day.
It was Andrew Kelly. He's just like, we're filming it, and it's like whatever.
He knew what we were about.
Yeah,
He didn't care.
yeah. No, that was the right call.
Yeah. This has to be documented for posterity.
What a fucking weird thing.
People need to know.
What a fucking weird thing. And then they left, and I got to play Steel Diver.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And that weird pilot wings.
That weird pilot wings and Face Raiders.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 3DS launch.
Remember the AR cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Vita came with AR cards too.
Mm-hmm.
Those got used a lot.
3DS have any good launch games?
Ridge Racer,
Which one?
3DS.
Mario 64.
Oh God, remember Super Street Fighter 4 3D edition?
Yep.
No.
And you turned off the 3D and it ran double the frame rate.
Yes.
Like, okay, I get
Yes.
it. I get it now.
Now I see how this thing
understand
works.
platform.
Turbo Edition.
I see.
Oh wow, that's right. The only first party releases were Pilot Wings Resort, Steel Diver, and Nintendogs plus Cats.
Oh, right.
That was the 3DS
Yeah.
launch lineup.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I remember.
And then
not
a bunch
being
of-
in a
And then
rush to get
they
that.
had to do their make good when they lowered the price.
Right.
Like,
And-
hey, you get
the ambassador program.
Yes.
And a bunch of like ports of console games.
very carefully system transferring the ambassador certificate from
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
one 3DS to another over the years.
Oh man, I don't know if I did that.
Oh, man.
When I got my
You still got
new-
a
Missed a Zelda game then, I think.
what was attached to that? Like 10 games or something?
yeah, it was like 8
Yeah.
Bunch of
Game Boy
downloadable
games.
games,
It was
that's
like,
right.
here's Alleyway. And we're not going to sell Alleyway. It's
Yeah,
like, I mean,
Alleyway.
you could sell Alleyway. It doesn't mean you're going to sell Alleyway.
Alleyway is pretty good. I like it.
You know, when the Game Boy first came
Yeah.
out, Alleyway was pretty good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Let's see. Jeff, you saw the story like right before we came in here. That Sony has quietly sent out like an NDA survey to specific users about PSN name changes.
Yeah, this was a Push Square, the story,
Yeah.
or a screenshot of this survey, I guess.
Which says flat out, hey, please don't share this publicly. Which,
Yeah.
of course, they immediately
let's do
sent it.
Yeah. And it's a survey. It looks to be a survey about changing your name on PSN. And I guess the survey questions, you know, which obviously it's a survey, so who knows? But it's funny because the survey is like, we just thought we would see if this is something that's important to people.
Yeah.
You guys want to?
It's like fucking.
Would you
Yeah,
be
that was my-
interested in?
Yeah, the
You
core
still don't know.
the core question is that they're trying to gauge interest, and my immediate reaction was like, come on, really?
Yeah.
But
Maybe
Maybe
it
you-
sounds more like that they're trying to. Well, I don't know because the survey seems to imply that you would be able to change your name every 6 months.
yeah,
once
so
for free.
There are details, about how it might work. That's basically it. Yeah.
As opposed to paying the way you do on an Xbox.
So the details are, and this is of course kind of up in the air, but one change every 6 months for free. But if you want to change back to a previous name you had, you have to call their customer service.
Is it any previous name or just your original name?
It says if you want to change your PSN name back to an older handle,
Okay.
you'll have to contact customer support. So I guess that means any of the previous ones you used.
So it
That's-
probably locks them when.
Yeah,
you
that
write it
actually
off.
that actually sounds really fucked because it sounds like it's really like, you can create a PSN account for free, so all the good names are already gone.
Sure.
And if you start locking up all these things, if you're just creating this clutter-filled trail of dead names as you go, that seems like a poor solution to this.
Maybe at some point they do what Microsoft did and like expire all the old ones
Right.
at some point and free them back up.
But I wonder,
that's
like,
asking a lot of Sony.
To me, this says, and this is backed up by some of the stuff that I've heard coming out of Sony, talking to people over the years. But this sounds like a technical
Nightmare.
it sounds like a nightmare.
Headache at
Like,
least.
Yeah, yes, a headache. Like
Probably worse.
making this work with the way that they have built everything in
Yeah.
PSN all the way back to the PS3.
Yeah.
And making sure that those older systems still work and all of those stuff sounds fucking hellacious.
Yes.
Uh,
Maybe some not so forward thinking decisions were made.
yeah.
Back in the day.
that now they're kind of stuck with. And so I guess I'm not surprised to see stuff like, oh, if you want to change to an older name, you have to contact customer support. It's like, yeah, because this whole system was never meant to do the thing you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And
A lot of like duct tape and bubble gum in there holding
yeah,
things
like if this was a switch they could flip, they would have flipped it years ago. Like,
Yeah.
obviously this is something that they wouldn't send out a survey if it was a trivial fix, right? They'd be like, oh, of course we're doing this.
Yeah.
Instead, they're like, hey, how much do you actually care about this? Because we have to dedicate people to this for a good long time.
We need to get this approved.
and
We have a budget.
It's fucking fucked up, and they could be working on super sample. I don't know what they could be working on deleting messages less dumb.
Yeah.
Which they made slightly less dumb in a
little
piece
better.
of firmware. I don't know.
Yeah.
I turned off messages. So
That's probably the way to go.
um,
Like one message out of 100 is valuable to me, so I can't make myself turn it off.
Yeah, now my Xbox Live account is nothing but spam now too.
Yeah, I get a decent number of real people saying nice things, but yeah, I get a lot of spam on there for sure.
I haven't looked in my Xbox messages in a long time
Yeah, I
because I
don't
haven't been
either.
gold. But I remember when I left, there was just a lot of people sending voice messages about how cheap my Marvel vs. Capcom 3 team was.
Nice.
That was about 75% of my inbox.
Nice.
Excellent. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
The one thing that comes to mind about them trying to gauge interest with this survey is maybe like there's some internal argument going on about how important this is.
Yeah.
And like somebody wants the ammunition.
Yeah.
The
They
num-
need numbers. They
yeah,
need
they-
to present it to people.
They need the numbers to
Well,
show.
I mean, it doesn't come for free, right?
Right.
It's hours of engineers' time. If they've got an estimate saying, hey, this is actually not easy to do, they need to be able to say, well, we have to do it because people need this. It should be obvious, just even from a hearts and minds, if not a raw numbers perspective, that this is something they have to do.
Yeah.
They should probably have just bitten this bullet a long time ago.
like when the PS4 launched.
This is probably something they should have done by now.
I'll give them some credit. The downloads have gotten a lot faster.
It's still
Recently.
hit and miss for me. I feel like it's typically you're right.
It's been way faster.
I've had a couple of days there. I guess it's more often than not that it is faster, but
Yeah.
I've had a couple of times where it's been like, turn this off.
Xbox Live, on the other hand, has gotten super slow. I don't know what's up with that thing.
I
That
agree.
thing used to be
that
crazy
thing,
fast.
That thing
It's-
got crazy fast,
Yeah.
and then I feel like lately it's less fast.
Like when I first got my good internet, I was like, "Holy shit, Xbox Live moves!" And now it's like maybe a fifth of that.
you start to
Wow.
I don't know. You start to wonder if that's like, hey, can we cut costs
Right.
around the edges
Yeah.
of the Xbox business?
Totally. That was my
and
thought.
maybe serve it up a
Totally.
little less fast to people because
Yeah.
what the fuck are it's not like we're selling that many hey, come on.
That was
I wonder.
that was my thought too.
I would think that they would just keep it full blast because it's Microsoft and they own a cloud platform of their own
Yeah.
that they could use for distribution, and it could be something they could, if it ends up losing them money, you could say like, hey, well, it's a good showcase for our cloud platform. Other partners, hey, look at how fast the Xbox downloads. We could bring that to you for your CAD shit.
If I know anything about corporate bureaucracy, that sounds way too ideal of a company.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, different divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Marvel Capcom, the Evo lineup came out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Capcom Pro Tour lineup came out.
Yeah.
What's it missing?
Something conspicuously
Nothing.
missing
Nothing is missing.
from both of those.
Yeah, Marvel is not in the Evo lineup. It's
Yeah.
not even going to be on the Pro Tour.
That was the one where like I figured we would like briefly mention this because of the Evo stuff, but like Evo has a lot of other games.
Yep.
Like the Capcom Pro Tour, there aren't that many eligible games, and they still didn't include it.
So they had something called the Battle for the Stones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that conclude?
yeah,
I believe
that was
so,
last
yeah.
summer. wasn't it?
Okay, and then so then people were looking for either another one of those, and then there was nowhere to there, and so they're like, okay, we'll wait for the Capcom Pro Tour, which has been happening annually for like 5 years or so now.
Give or take, yeah.
There was I think like a leaked pitch deck or something like that got out that implied that Marvel would be on the Pro Tour.
Like they had assumed that it
But that was just a
would.
pitch deck. So
Yeah,
apparently
exactly.
not.
Capcom's not being real transparent with what's going on with that, why it's not at Evo. Evo organizers have gone forward to say, maybe there's other parties involved, and maybe these other parties don't like the way or don't want their licenses
I keep forgetting
portrayed
Yeah.
in such a way.
I keep forgetting that Disney is an entity in all of this.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure Capcom would love to promote their game. It's not the best entry in the series.
It doesn't.
by far.
It's
but
not like it requires a huge amount of additional work on Capcom's end.
You would think. I mean, but if you do have it on the Pro Tour, you've got to dedicate money both in support,
Right.
and like prize money as
Yeah,
well.
you gotta get commentators. You gotta get a lot of stuff.
And
but-
also, like at some point, you have to look at the numbers and go like, is this good money to spend
Yeah.
on this game that like
It did not set the world on fire.
Did not set the world on fire. Like the hype seems to not necessarily be there. And then on top of that, if they wanted to treat this as a lasting service, the same way they are doing with Street Fighter in its seasons, they have to work with Disney every step of the way, which is a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Of approvals and the whole process there. So at some point, do you just cut your losses and go like, yeah, I mean, we could support this and maybe we would break even, but the amount of work it would take to work with Disney to make this happen, to continue to support this game, not worth it.
And presumably
that's
Disney
my
is getting
thought,
a cut of everything that they
Sure.
bring in.
And that's like around
that's-
the launch of the game, there was a lot of like backdoor talk of, yeah, we wanted to do this, but Disney.
This actually,
Like,
that totally reminds me of the Battlefront 2 situation of like the word getting out that like,
Yeah.
hey, we would have done cosmetic microtransactions if they had let us. And
Right.
then you wouldn't have had to buy your upgrades.
Yeah. And then also like this was, like those patches and stuff for, was it Ultimate MVC3 got pulled off of download services.
Yep, you
and
couldn't buy the
DLC,
game, you couldn't
and,
buy the DLC.
because the license is expiring and stuff like that. So I feel like at that point, Capcom knew what the fuck they were getting into. They know that Disney was a nightmare partner to work with on this stuff in particular for the type of game they're trying to make, that it's not necessarily a great fit.
Right.
I've heard plenty of stories from other people that are partnered with Disney making games about like, oh, this is a fucking shit show. And I feel like Capcom should have seen this coming and maybe not done this game. If this is like, like looking at it now, you're like, yeah, maybe in retrospect, this shouldn't have happened in the first place.
But I mean, they didn't have anything to fill that role. That style of game. They needed another Marvel game.
They needed another.
Call up your
fighting
friends
game.
at Tatsunoko.
Yeah.
Call up your friends at Capcom and say, we're making a Capcom All-Stars that is a versus game.
Yep.
And it's we control all of it. And fuck, here's fucking some asshole character from Ghouls and Ghosts. Guess what? He plays just like Captain America. I don't know. He's got a fucking boomerang bone.
What is the crucial element in the type of game you're talking about? Is it the tag? Is it the team versus
it's
aspect?
mostly, yeah.
It's not the Marvel characters, right? It's
Capcom
the-
Fighting Evolution 2?
That
Boom,
is a big
done.
part of it. Yeah.
And that was one of the major complaints about the game is like the X-Men weren't
Right,
in it.
right.
And that's such an integral part.
Right.
Like not having Mag fucking Nito in your versus game.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm
Storm,
asking is
Noble,
if they were made to make a totally new game that hit the right notes, like which I assume are three-man tags and like 3 screen high jumps are the things you want, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Like
yeah.
if it wasn't an MVC game, but it was the exact same
I think
style.
it would still get by.
Say if it had Dragon Ball Z characters in it.
Sure. What if it was all Dragon Ball Z characters?
That sounds pretty good. I saw that Fighters, while we're on this vein, is the highest concurrent player count of any fighting game on Steam history.
That's surprised.
And
But
then
also
a lot of people
80% drop off since release. Which
I-
I buy a
that's-
major chunk of that as like Dragon Ball enthusiasts who do not like. As far as it goes for an Arxis game, it's probably one of the easier Arxis games to pick up. But
Totally.
it is still an Arxis game. It is
People
still
are
a tag
brutal out there.
game.
I think casual fans are going to run into two things with this game now. Well, I think all players of this game will run into the game having network issues, ring matches having problems, all this other stuff. Like there's just a lot of fucked up things happening around the
edges,
matchmaking and stuff in that game. And then for casual fans of Dragon Ball Z, when they do get into a match, a lot of the people that are playing now have gotten good. And it starts to feel like Marvel did, where you're like, I'm just bouncing around and I don't even have an opportunity to tag. And those players are getting fucked up. And why would they keep playing?
Yeah.
Unless they're, if they finish the story mode, then maybe they're done. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a shame because if the matchmaking was better, I think you'd have more people trying to play it and you'd have a wider array of skill levels. Instead, only the most dedicated people that want those fights are in there in matchmaking. And
I've found
fucking blowing people up.
after a lot of testing, I found my most stable way of finding a match is sign up for a casual or ranked match and go into training mode. And I feel like I'm getting
How long's the wait?
like 30 seconds to a minute, maybe 3 minutes if it's bad.
That's how
If
I've
it's
been
bad,
finding
like-
matches also. Like the ring match and arena match stuff in the lobbies
It
just
seems
seems
completely
busted.
broken.
Yeah.
Like I get a ring match working 1 out of 6 times.
And then even when you do, it's like the ring match is only open as long as the host stays there. It doesn't transfer hosts. So if they're like, oh, I just got fucking worked, I'm going to go find other players, they shut the whole thing down. And it's,
still easier to find a match than playing Infinite.
yeah, I would still rather play that game. especially now that, well, I don't know that I'll ever get into modding it, but someone modded Teen Gohan into Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, I saw that.
Like a supersonic, and it looks fucking kind of legit.
I did not. Yeah, I saw the Sonic stuff. I saw looked like it fit the game.
It's
I
like
didn't-
the attacks even look. It's fucking crazy.
I didn't see any media of this, but apparently somebody also got Nicolas Cage in there.
Of course, yeah, the natural other like, oh, Dragon Ball's. Well, what if Nicolas Cage was in this?
Biggest-
Of course, you would do that.
Biggest anime fan in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'll just read the Evo lineup real fast.
Yeah, some good stuff.
It's Tekken 7,
Mm-hmm.
Super Smash Brothers
Oh, yeah.
4, Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition,
Mm-hmm.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Guilty Gear Xrd,
yeah.
Rev 2, Injustice 2, Super Smash Brothers Melee, Dragon Ball Fighters.
No,
Really happy to see you, Dragon Ball there.
What
Yeah.
about
taking the number 2 spot right behind Street Fighter
Yeah.
for top 8?
what about Until Night After In Birth?
Unio?
Latest XE, latest.
There'll be some sides.
There's a
Yeah,
hotel.
look at
There's a
its
hotel
due.
room. I'll let you know about.
All right.
They run like semi-official. Like,
Yeah, they announced this year they're going to have a stream going for a bunch, not all of, but many side tournaments, and they even considered getting like little Evo medals for those side tournaments to give out to the winners
That'd
and
be great.
stuff.
That's cool.
Little
yeah,
tiny
like,
medal.
like having, just have some fun with some smaller games.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got their game.
But yeah, this is there's a lot of anime. There's a lot of Smash. I mean, there's even anime that's not even out yet. The Blaze Blue stuff.
Yeah.
that's
When's
not the
that
first.
come out?
That's not the first time they've done that, though. I don't think.
They did it
But
with Tekken.
yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup, and yeah, certainly a swerve away from traditional Capcom stuff.
And it's in August now, which means it's further away from E3, which means I might want to go to it.
Maybe.
They're gonna change up the venue this year. I think it's still
are
at
they?
the same place, but they're doing more like of a stage show as opposed to like the big
just warehouse.
platform in the middle. Yeah. So it'll be more like a concert type thing,
Okay.
more traditional.
Huh.
I will
All right.
totally. They got to have the booth though. Like they can't get rid of the booth.
No.
Need the booth.
Gotta have the booth.
I need James. Evo's not Evo unless James Chen is crying like a baby.
Yeah.
Seth Killian's on the verge of it.
Yep.
Yep. That's my Evo.
Is he still pretty heavily involved in Evo now that he's a Riot Games employee?
No, I don't know about organization or anything.
He's done
but,
commentating.
That's
he's-
mainly what I meant. He's still
Like,
he's still visible
every
as
once in a
a,
while,
he
like,
flew
face.
over. He commentated Evo Japan, didn't he?
That sounds right. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
And he and Mike Ross did the ESPN.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
first year they had it on
Okay.
ESPN.
Yep.
Riot, kind of one of those companies that people tend to disappear into
Right.
to some extent. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still out there.
I like to imagine
Seth,
it
if
like
you're okay, let us know.
I like to imagine it like Hooli in Silicon Valley, where you can kind of just do whatever you want because it's so big and it's impossible to keep track of all its employees.
Maybe, yeah.
Very, very possible. All right. Last story. It's a follow up on the scandal from last week. Billy Mitchell has broken his silence.
What?
About these questionable Donkey Kong
His
scores.
epic
Has he been
apology.
exonerated now? Is he?
No,
Broken a barbecue sauce bottle over some video game referee's head.
He went
He's
on.
just saying, "Come at me."
He went on an internet talk show called Eastside Dave
Oh, that guy. I don't know.
to tell his story.
Was it in VR?
I pulled
Side Dave.
I pulled this right up off of Kotaku, where it says that they spent half an hour talking about King of Kong and hot sauce before they got to the controversy around his stuff.
Cool.
Here's a quote from Billy Mitchell.
About hot sauce.
I've never even played MAME. I don't have MAME loaded in my home.
What?
That's what he says.
Fuck that. I don't believe
And then he went
Billy
on.
Mitchell.
You help me try to make sense of this.
All right, what you got?
Here's what he said. The film footage that he has, that Jeremy has, shows MAME play. Now, I contend that if he
Mameplay.
gets the original tape or he gets the original room shot, he will see that what I say is true. I'm not disputing what he says. What I am disputing is the fact that I want him to have the original tape. And the fact of the matter is that that original footage was given to Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies has it or should have it. And if it's anywhere other than Twin Galaxies, that's a real problem.
Where's the tape?
Where's the tape?
Where's the tape?
We got to find the tape.
Walter, do you have the tape?
This is now. Forget that other
like
tape.
Walter Day going, I had it. Is it this pocket? No.
Jeremy's gonna know once he gets that tape.
So is he claiming then that there is a fake tape that happens to get the exact same score
fake MAME tape.
that his real tape got?
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
And
let's
they've been putting
see.
this together for years.
Okay,
Years. They've been doing this.
There's another quote that came up later.
it'd be easy to do that in MAME. Not easy, but it's possible to do that in MAME.
It is anything is possible. Who would do this? Nefarious people out to get Billy Mitchell.
Who would make a fake MAME?
Un-American
Yeah,
traders
someone
want
else
to bring
with
down a
a
patriot.
rival barbecue
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. Later in the interview,
Jim Ross
Frank.
did it.
Oh, I was gonna say.
the host Dave McDonald, who I assume to be East Side Dave.
Side.
That's weirdly enough West Side Dave.
Let's see. He dropped this line. Let me paraphrase here for a second. There is a tape that is MAME that people claim is Billy Mitchell. Everyone says the tape is MAME. The tape is MAME. Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. MAME tape.
It's possible that it's not even Billy's MAME tape. That they're trying to pass off a MAMEd tape
He's
and
never
say
played
it's
MAME.
Billy when he had nothing to do with it.
It-
Mitchell did not respond.
It ain't Billy's MAME tape.
It's not Billy's tape.
It's not,
Not
Billy's tape.
Not Billy's.
Where's the tape?
Like, I barely understand what argument he's making in his own
think
defense.
He's saying he's been framed.
I think he's
Yeah.
he's saying that
Conspiracy.
he's saying whatever tape that guy's got is clearly MAME, but that ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the
but
original
also,
tape.
Not my fake
Also,
MAME tape.
the original tape is missing.
Right.
And that's
Also,
a
where's
big
the tape?
problem.
Yeah. So there's two tapes. They're both missing.
This ends with like Billy Mitchell getting in a limo and it blowing up or something, right? Like season cliffhanger style.
So the guy Jeremy Young, who originally deduced that this footage was fraudulent,
Concocted this footage.
got
This fake MAME.
yeah, he got in touch with Kotaku over this issue.
Good.
I don't know if I should read this whole email.
You should
No.
It's crazy.
you have
let
to.
me-
You have
yes,
to.
you know what I'm talking about. You saw it.
Yes.
Okay. Here is what he said in response to Billy Mitchell's
Jason has to
claims.
leave in a little bit,
Yeah.
and he needs to
Okay.
get the full story
Okay.
about the MAME tape.
Here is what Jeremy Young said. The amount of foresight, patience, and technical knowledge required would be staggering. He's basically saying the amount of all that required to
Falsified.
Replicate.
This.
pull off this scam that Billy Mitchell is implying.
You can do anything in MAME.
By my reckoning, Dwayne would have to, and I think Dwayne is the scorekeeper who officiates this stuff.
Dwayne the Rock scorekeeper.
Yes, exactly. By my reckoning, Dwayne would have to, 1, know for over a decade that this bug existed in MAME and not tell anyone. 2,
Devious.
know every potential independent source that would in the future publish clips of Billy's gameplay, know exactly what that footage would contain, and whether that footage would contain the MAME signature.
Totally doable.
3, either A, know that the press conference video is also MAME, or B, organize a conspiracy to swap the tapes being shown that day.
Mm-hmm.
4, in the case of 3A, why wait this long? 5, in the case of 3B, he would have had only a few days to craft a full performance of 2 games, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., faithful enough to fool Billy himself and convince someone to swap the tapes at the event.
Mm-hmm.
6, apart from 3A, he would need to craft at least 2 full-length, roughly 2.5 hours, games to match the independent footage. These would have to match Billy's original gameplay, pixel for pixel, frame for frame.
You've done that, Brad.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What could be easier? It didn't take 2 days or anything.
Steve Wiebe made the tape.
Oh, man.
The Wiebe tape.
Don't invoke his name.
Lastly, 7, he would have had to wait for years for the right amount of general skepticism and technical knowledge to coalesce.
You need a big plan to take down Billy Mitchell.
Yeah, so
all the way to the top.
This is all
Right.
he's got.
This is a conspiracy
This
that
is all he's got.
goes to the heart of the arcade game community, apparently.
Fake tape.
I don't.
It's not. It's
What
not
if there's a
Billy's
third
tape.
tape?
What if Shigeru Miyamoto made the tape?
Damn it. What if Mario made the tape?
He was like, "That was Jumpman. I'm Mario. Fuck Jumpman."
Stop playing this shitty game.
This is all turning into some kind of clandestine cyber thriller.
This is real dumb.
Yeah.
Billy
I don't-
Mitchell's
I
not
don't-
exonerated.
I don't know that we can take Billy Mitchell at his word here. I'm just going to put that out here.
Yeah, I think you might be right. He's got a real good point though. Fake tape.
Fake tape.
Fake tape.
Yep.
He ain't even got MAME in his house.
The Wiebe tape.
But he's created just enough ambiguity to where people
Yes.
will go like, "Well, I
Oh.
guess we'll never know the truth."
Yeah, just about to say
He's pulling from a very well-worn playbook at
Uh-huh.
this point.
yeah. He sees it working all over
Yeah,
the
that's
place.
true.
He's like, all right, I'm going to get in on that.
Yeah.
I don't buy for a
He's-
second that he does not have MAME in his house.
He's just asking questions.
Same.
As much of an arcade enthusiast as he is, the idea that he doesn't have
That he's
and
never-
never has had MAME in
Yeah.
his home is
Yeah, that's
completely unbelievable.
horseshit.
Which of his
Yeah.
homes? He's got several, probably. Right.
He probably
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
I think that they
I don't know.
A hot dog.
I don't know.
I was gonna say hot dog warehouse, a hot sauce warehouse.
I've seen him referred to as a magnate, so I assume that company does pretty well.
I mean, look at those ties.
It's true.
Cost a lot of
I don't
money,
know that
those
I
ties.
think anyone was being 100% serious when they referred to him as a hot sauce magnate.
Okay. Well, he inherited the company, is my understanding.
Okay, all
So
right. Yeah,
it's been around.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He inherited the company and then put his face on the bottle.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure his parents started the company.
Oh,
if I'm-
okay.
So it's
Maybe like a
been in
baby.
business.
A baby.
Okay.
was on
I
it.
don't know anything about the size of Billy
Yeah.
Mitchell's hot sauce business.
Yeah.
Because I only see it in the context of like, I've got a special hot sauce for video games.
Oh yeah, I always got the sense that this arcade stuff was a side hustle for him.
I would hope so.
But who knows? Yeah. Shrug.
Planning this all along. Well, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I've got.
All right.
All right, Jason.
Okay,
I
you
got
got to
an
bust out of
appointment
here.
with Dr. Dong. I think.
Okay.
All right.
The dong doctor.
Yeah, the Dong Doctor.
Okay.
Gotta
All
work
right.
on my
Well,
dong.
that was it for news. So this is a good time to take a break and let you get out of here, and we'll be right back with some emails. All right. One late breaking piece of news.
Yeah, I guess this maybe isn't news to people who watched the streams that they've been running, but the Ninja Turtles are out for Injustice 2
Mhm.
for certain players, like people that whether they bought a season pass, because I don't think they're for sale individually, but like people that have like early access to characters by whatever means you purchased
Whatever
that.
dark means you
Yeah,
have. Your soul packed with Ed
sounds like-
Boon.
yeah, they're rolling out today. And so this is the first time I've seen someone say how you choose between the 4 turtles, because it's not like they added 4 characters to the game.
Is it just one entry on the
It
select
is
screen?
one entry on the select screen that is by default Leonardo.
Okay.
And according to Another Realm's Tyler Lansdowne here, it says, it sounds like it's a reaction to people going, hey, how come it's only Leonardo? He says, so Leo is not the only turtle available to play as the other rad dudes. Customize your character by adding the weapon of the turtle you want to play in the accessory slot.
What? And
One of each
presumably-
weapon will be available in your inventory when you download the turtles. Hope this helps.
Also the right color of.
Well, you can customize all the gear, so I wonder if you would maybe put it on samurai. I don't know what the
Okay.
gear looks like, so maybe I would. Yeah, presumably the right
You
color.
can't have a red Donatello. That's
No,
against
that
the
is-
rules.
that
Well, they all started red.
Oh, you know, you're right.
That's super. Make your own turtles, basically.
It's
Finally.
I mean, when you think about like how the inventory, the inventory system and customizing loadouts and stuff like that, kind of a hassle.
And you were talking about player 2 doesn't get these options.
so like responses to this tweet are just like people saying like, "Hey, player 2 can't use player 1's saved loadouts in offline mode, so please fix that." And
So is this just like a weird hacky workaround
seems like it.
to fit
Yeah.
multiple characters into
Yes.
one slot?
Seems like it.
Hmm.
And then since tournaments don't allow you to use custom loadouts, it sounds like for the tournament mode in the game, they do let you select which turtle you want, and you get a default turtle there. But in the rest of the game, they don't. It seems like a very hacky way to put
Yeah.
this stuff together.
So that means all turtles have the same base moveset then.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I haven't seen that stuff. But you know, presumably the different weapon
Yeah.
confers things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm eager to try it, especially after reading that and seeing like this seems like, as someone who has struggled with the inventory in Injustice 2 and found it to be a clunky way to manage your gear, having that matter. I mean, you can set multiple loadouts, so
Yeah.
you could just create one of each and be done, I guess. But
Yeah,
Ugh.
if you have access to those characters, we should sit down and see how,
yeah, I'll
how
check.
the hell that
I'll
works.
check.
'Cause
It
that's,
seems like an inelegant solution.
that seems really strange.
Anyway, that
that-
just hit, so
yeah,
I thought that
right.
was interesting.
and that's it for Injustice 2, right? That's the last thing they're making.
Last announced,
Or
thing.
that's right, yeah.
I would assume that it is the last
Yeah.
content patch. I'm sure balance changes, whatever. They'll probably still keep at it. But
Sure.
We're going to hopefully hear news soon on our loot-based Mortal Kombat game, right?
I would figure
It
that-
makes sense that they've built this system for Injustice, and it seems pretty well received. That the idea
my
that-
understanding is that this system started as a Mortal Kombat system,
Oh.
and then
Huh.
was not ready until Injustice 2.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I don't know. We had Ed Boon in, that was last E3, and I talked to him about because if you think about the way that Mortal Kombat completely threw away all of its stuff when it went to PS2 and Xbox, and then threw all of that stuff away for kind of what we have now, or an early version of what we have now. And he kind of said, yeah, sometimes you need to tear all this stuff down and start over. I think we might, me personally, I think I'm at a point where I would like to see a much larger change in the style of gameplay.
Yeah.
So I think even Injustice and Mortal Kombat are like somewhat similar.
Yeah, and we've had 2 MKs and 2 Injustices now,
Right.
in that style.
And I think I think that style is served them incredibly well. I think Mortal Kombat X and MK9 were fucking rad games. Whatever, the Injustice games are rad too.
What if they were in 3D and everyone had weapons?
Okay,
Whoa.
all right. What if there was a cart game
Yeah.
in there?
The turtles can come too.
Okay, they love to drive. They've got a van.
They've got a van.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that I necessarily need to see a third Mortal Kombat that has this kind of style. I don't know. Like
Right.
if they're out there, if they've made these changes in the past and said that this is something that they feel is like a vital thing, I think we're getting to the time.
Yeah,
where,
I feel like maybe one more Mortal Kombat in the
Yeah.
lines, but then like I can't imagine like a third Injustice like this or something like that.
Yeah. If they're going to ship a game every 2 years, so if we're looking at a Mortal Kombat release next April, then yeah, I would like to see something that's a somewhat dramatic departure from the gameplay systems that they've got in place now. I still think that 2D and I think going back to like a 3D sidestep, like I don't that's not, no one wants that.
Just put all the Mortal Kombat characters in Tekken.
That would also be fun in a weird way. But yeah, I guess I don't know, the clash system from Injustice, the meter management stuff from the Mortal Kombat from all these games, like I would like to see a very hard, like I would like to see all that stuff tossed out and have some new stuff in its place. I think that'd be fun. Maybe rethink some of the timing on the juggles a little bit or something like that very crunchy NetherRealm style. I think could be evolved.
My number one thing that would get me playing those games online specifically more is putting in more tools to deal with like ranged projectile spam. Because I feel like Injustice had like whenever I tried online, I was just getting camped out by like a not Cyborg, Deadshot.
Yeah. The Deadshot
And
was
like there were
very
like
big
3
for a
or
very
4
long time, yeah.
characters, like Green Arrow in the first Injustice,
Mhm.
Aquaman and stuff like that. I feel like campy long range stuff has been a problem with those games for. I mean, I'm sure if I put more time in to get better, I'd find better ways around that. But
a lot of it ends up burning your meter to get in.
yeah,
Like getting some of those rolls off and stuff like that in Injustice. Like it's like I want to say
what
it's
if
like
they gave
2-bar
everyone an
rolls?
instant transmission where they could
Okay.
teleport behind the other character? They go like this.
Yeah. I'm potentially receptive to that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very anxious to see what they're working on next, though.
Indeed. All right, let's read the emails for the show that were sent to bombcast@giantbomb.com. First email. Okay. Brandon from Edmonton writes in, Jeff, pitch me a good Garfield game.
Okay, Garfield sees on TV that there is a contest for all-you-can-eat lasagna,
Okay.
and there's like a treasure hunt involved, like a scavenger hunt to figure out who's going to win it, and he decides to set off on a journey around the world, hunting down clues.
Jeff, I'm going to stop you here. Around the world sounds like a lot of places that we're going to have to put in this game. Is there any way, like...
Well, I mean, maybe we just like pick a select few
Okay.
that are far up enough apart that the implication is that he traveled around the world. But we're
Okay.
only seeing, let's say, what's like a famous place in the world, like Egypt? How about?
Yeah, Egypt.
Somewhere in Mexico, maybe?
Yeah, maybe like a Mexican city of some sort.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of those.
I mean, if he's going for lasagna, it's got to be Italy, too.
Italy is where lasagna was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we just have that sort of stuff. I was thinking maybe like the moon would be fun, but maybe that's just out of scope for this.
Yeah.
He's going to need like a nemesis of some kind.
We'll come up with
A
something.
foil.
I don't know. What is just
What's Normal doing?
I don't know.
That's a great
Yeah.
question. Maybe we get into that. But that sounds like a lot of work to do a story. Why don't we just have like, I don't know, like a dark Garfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is like a carbon copy, like
What if
a.
we give him an eye patch?
That's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough. Yeah, that'd be tough.
Should it have multiplayer?
Sure, why not?
Should it be good?
No.
Budget title, though.
Yeah.
Something affordable.
Yeah, let's get it out there for the kids to enjoy. It's Garfield. It's not fucking Master Chief's Wild Lasagna Quest.
Sounds like a Garfield globe-trotting adventure.
There you go.
For lasagna.
Maybe we get the Globetrotters in here.
Okay, now
Jeff,
we're
can you pitch me Master Chief's Wild Lasagna Quest? Because now I'm suddenly way more interested in that.
and
Okay,
There's
so
an
Master
embarrassing-
Chief is watching TV and he sees that there's there's a scavenger hunt happening for all you can eat lasagna. And Master Chief is just like, wake me up when I can get free lasagna. So Cortana wakes him up and says like, there's a lasagna thing. There's a lasagna opportunity. And he's like, let's go.
He kicks Cortana off the table and says, "Let's go."
I'm going to give the Covenant back their tomato sauce. And he goes around the universe and to different halos. There's one themed like Egypt. There's one themed like some kind of Mexican city. And then, I don't know, Italy's where lasagna is from. So like a Space Italy.
Space Italy.
And he goes to all of those locations.
And it turns out all these ring worlds are production facilities for elements of lasagna.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
one of the halos makes the ricotta.
Mm-hmm.
One of the halos makes the noodles.
Yeah, that all sounds really expensive. Maybe we could just like get Chex Quest and just hack Master Chief into it and
Okay.
turn the Chex a different color.
Yeah, I feel like a Chex is already a rectangle, and that's
Lasagna's a
lasagna.
rectangle. Done.
Man, I thought I already had a title for this podcast, but that's a strong contender. I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Matthew from Nashville. I was watching your Super NT Super Stream, and while playing F-Zero, Brad mentioned that he needed someone to put on Dookie by Green Day. Then Jeff mentioned listening to Van Halen 1 while playing Road Runner. This got me thinking about my own personal soundtracks to the games of my youth. I always played the original Legend of Zelda on NES while listening to East 1999 by Bone Thugs and Harmony. To this day, I can't play that game without hearing Mr. Ouija and Me Killa. I admit this is an odd pairing, especially for a middle-class white kid in rural Tennessee, but it is my reality nonetheless.
That sounds like he played Zelda late.
Kinda, yeah, sure. I'm curious, do any of the rest of you have a game that you will always associate with a specific album or artist?
I don't think I have anything else. Other
Yeah,
than,
that F-Zero is the one I've said like 5 times on this website over the years.
Yeah.
That's the one that
But
really jumps out.
and similar.
Oh, you know what? So Quake 1, if you bought it on CD, which
Right.
you had to when it came out.
I mean, you didn't have to.
well, yes.
Go on.
You legitimately bought Quake. It was on CD, and all the music was CD audio.
Yeah.
So you could throw any other album in there, and it would just play the relevant tracks off that CD instead. Anyway, I left KMFDM's Neil in my CD-ROM for like 2 years. Like that was the album that I played Quake to.
Whenever I play Dota, I put on just some like shitty top 1,000 trance album.
That's the
Is that
authentic.
not
That's
already
the authentic.
autoplay when you play Dota?
Yeah.
That's definitely the authentic Dota experience. Deadmau5 did a music pack for Dota.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, I bought it.
Played a lot of old Wu-Tang over Def Jam games.
Okay.
It's kind of similar.
All right. Yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't the Def Jam games have soundtracks already?
Yeah, but then I just play my own Wu-Tang
Yeah.
over.
Okay, fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Listen to jazz when we play Melee. Turn the game music down. Listen to some nice.
Smooth jazz.
Jazz.
It's just smoky. I miss custom soundtracks.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the 360. That was such a cool feature.
I had a soundtrack I put together for like playing Burnout Revenge on 360.
Because it would integrate the music like under the sound effect. Like it
Right,
would mix
yeah.
everything for you, right? That's
Yeah.
such a cool
Or
idea.
I guess for Paradise also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paradise, Avril Lavigne, Girlfriend.
Yeah. Just turn
That's-
everything else off and
Yes.
Yep.
follow
And
the
then
song
play
in.
the crash, not crash mode. What was the like where you tried?
Showtime mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like kill other cars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Email from Rainer. With the recent mini and classic releases of old consoles, do you think there would be enough incentive for Sony to make an actual hardware-based throwback console for PS1 and 2 titles? One with a disc reader would be most interesting for collectors and people that have a bunch of old favorites tucked in the closet. But do you think they will just stick to reselling the games digitally and not bother with hardware, even if doing that adds cost and requires jumping through the hoops of relicensing? An NT Mini-like solution from a third party would also be cool, but I'm guessing the PS1 and 2 hardware is too complex for that. I'm enjoying the recent old games content on the site a lot and blame you for eating supermarket lasagna for lunch today.
Hey, Stouffer's makes a decent lasagna. I don't think they would.
I don't think Sony. I
Yeah.
think the complexities of the PlayStation hardware are such that, I mean, that's doable someday. I just don't think
You talking about for Sony or for an analog type company to
for either
reverse
right now.
engineer?
I you know to just have the hardware to play PlayStation stuff. I guess I don't know for certain, but my loose understanding of that stuff is that the parts you would need to like make a fake PlayStation would not be cheap. To the point where it'd be a weird item, and it's still an optical drive at that point,
Yeah, you
which
still gotta
then
put a
you still
CD-ROM
have
in there.
parts that are wearing down and
Yeah.
all. That's a hassle to deal with. So I think the way they're doing it of reselling those games on current platforms, I think the Sony seems to like that just fine.
Yeah.
I could see them kind of just sticking with that.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I think it like a good clean way to play PS1, PS2 stuff, I think would be cool, and I think we'll get there eventually. With something like what Analogue's done with the Super NT, I think someone will eventually cross that bridge. The parts will only get cheaper over time, I suspect, and it'll make sense someday.
Yeah.
But maybe not today. I guess I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday.
Yeah,
You never know the numbers.
it's true.
Why?
Because if I knew the numbers, I would be an analyst and a consultant making 20 times the amount of money I'm making now.
I mean, I can teach you the numbers. There's only like a couple hundred of them.
Great.
If you want,
Or we just go into business together. You know the numbers, and
you want to know the numbers.
and I want to know the numbers.
Yeah.
So
All right. One more retro email. Brandon from Golden, Illinois wrote in. He wrote about the Retroad, which is the thing you brought in that I was using to dump all my old Super NES carts and saves. He mentions that he dumped a bunch of his carts onto the SNES Classic. And he also mentions you can hex edit those save files that you dump and get those on the SNES Classic as well. So
sure.
That's cool. But at the end of the email, he says, I also wanted to ask about the Retro USB AVS that I thought I saw near Jeff's desk in a mailbag video. Any chance of doing an NES stream with either that or the Analogue NT? Always enjoy your retro streams and the stories you guys tell of playing these games back in the day.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I guess did we do an NES stream when that NT Mini came out? I'm trying to remember.
I don't
if
think we
did
did
or not. I think because I bought one a little late. Maybe we just didn't.
I would extremely sit down and look at that thing because I've never seen one in action.
Yeah,
but what is the other thing he's talking about? Retro USB.
It's
AVS?
a similar device. The AVS it plays 8-bit Nintendo games.
Okay.
And you can hook it. It's weird, man. So they've tried to do online high scores for that thing, but to get it to work, there's an app you have to run on a computer, and you have to USB connect the AVS to the computer so that it can read the memory for the saves. And it's
while you're playing
it's
it?
a weird solution.
Huh.
It's a very weird solution, but kind of a cool idea. That thing's not bad.
Yeah, I would totally sit down and look at that stuff.
All right, more cartridge cleaning.
Yeah,
hours
that's
and
right.
hours of cotton swabs.
That's your favorite.
Gonna if it's someday get all these cartridges clean.
You never know what you're gonna get.
just get a vat of like rubbing alcohol and toss them all in there.
Yeah, I should.
And like stir them around a little.
Yeah.
I don't think my NES games are on this coast, unfortunately, but I'm sure you've got a bazillion.
I do have a lot, and also those can run off an SD card on the NT Mini because of what they did with the custom firmware. So
sure. Yes.
we could kind of dip into that stuff.
Yeah, I would totally do that. Andre in Kansas.
That thing will dump NES cards, which is cool.
Wow.
I want to see Zelda 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Like, have you never?
I've seen like screenshots of it.
Oh, dude, we should play Zelda 2.
It's a good
I
game.
think about Zelda 2 from time to time in the context of should we play Zelda 2.
I feel like it's a good game.
I
In my heart,
remember
feel like
liking
it's
it a
good
lot.
game.
I also remember it being extremely difficult, especially toward the end.
There are parts of it, having tried to play it over the years, there are parts of it where like I just don't remember the order of events, and it's not presented in a logical enough fashion for you to know like, oh, here's where I go to get the candle, because I have to go to that cave eventually. And
Crouch up against this wall for 3 seconds.
no, that's
Yeah.
Castlevania. That's it's not Simon's Quest. It's not that bad.
I like Simon's Quest. All right, Andre in Kansas. My PS4 copy of Monster Hunter World says right on the box that it has exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn content. It's not a sticker, but part of the printed cover art. I bought the game less than a week ago, and I am nowhere near the necessary hunter rank to get the Horizon armor for my cat, and the mission disappears today, February 8th. Who knows if I'll be high enough rank for the Aloy armor when that arrives in a couple of weeks. Not to mention people who buy the game tomorrow or next month. Will the cover art be lying to all of us?
It's no, because it technically has the exclusive content.
Well,
Like,
buried in there,
it's there
inaccessibly.
somewhere. You might see another player with the Watcher Cat, and that fulfills the half-assed promise that that thing on the front of the box makes.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not great.
That stuff should just kind of be there, and they should be done with it. Like having it come and go. Like, what's it to them? What's it matter?
I mean, on the one hand, I do like the idea of cycling time-limited events in because it makes the game feel kind of like fresh
Right.
and
But
active.
this should not be one of them.
But yeah, this definitely, or it should have been longer or something. I don't know. I mean, and also
Or like maybe you get a slightly lower grade or something. Like if you don't,
Yeah, maybe.
like there's
Yeah,
so many solutions to
yeah.
this problem.
and like this week's event, which expires in 2 days, is Hunter rank 13, and like I'm not even half that. So
Right.
like they're like many things with Monster Hunter, it's a cool idea that's
Yeah.
maybe not implemented super well. Alan from Chattanooga. I started playing Watch Dogs 2 recently, and I remember the bomb crew saying their version of San Francisco was fairly accurate. So why the fuck does San Francisco have so many left-handed interstate ramps?
That's the one. Yeah, that's maybe the
'Cause you-
least accurate part.
There's
Oh.
nowhere in San Francisco you can turn left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a freeway that is definitely like a left exit to stay on the freeway. It's like, if you want to stay on 101 South, there's a weird half-assed exit you have to take to stay.
Yeah.
And that's the left side. But generally speaking, there are not a lot of left,
Okay. So
like freeway off ramps off to the left.
Okay.
That doesn't happen frequently here.
I don't drive around here, but so they got that. They got that.
They
part wrong.
got that because they had to make a video game city that works from a gameplay perspective while also trying to be accurate and all that other shit. So it happens.
Let's see. Patrick from Chicago. Not the same one. Let's see. When Nintendo was teasing their mini direct shortly before the announcement of Labo, they used a picture of a burning Chibi Robo to mock us. There was no Chibi Robo game announced, but then there was the robot stuff in Labo. This led me to think about staple Nintendo franchises utilizing Labo. What possibilities do you see for Nintendo implementing Labo as an optional functions in big games? What kinds of things do you think would be interesting to see them do? Fishing in Animal Crossing with the pole or playing piano with KK Slider came to mind for me.
Oh, real quick, I'm pretty sure that Chibi Robo thing was supposed to be him praising the sun
Yeah,
for
it's
the
a
Dark Souls thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
WarioWare. WarioWare Labo.
Yeah, okay. Are you thinking about new cutouts, like new cardboard
Yeah.
stuff for that?
Like
yeah, I can see that.
See, like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Labo.
Yeah, maybe,
Steering
maybe.
wheel stuff.
Zelda, like
Maybe. I don't know.
Donkey Konga comes back with
Okay.
cardboard.
Okay.
Oh yeah, huh?
It's the marriage.
And then you got a Let's Tap.
I was just
controller
gonna
right
say.
there,
I was just
too.
say the marriage of Donkey Konga and Let's Tap. you've
Let's
been
Tap,
waiting
the
for.
first video game I ever reviewed.
Oh. And did you give it the highest possible score you could give it?
6
Okay.
6 out of 10.
Oh, I guess that's the highest possible score you could give that game.
Yeah. I think that idea of playing piano with KK Slider on that little thing sounds fucking rad. That's super neat.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would ever mix those things though, because like what-
Right.
what-
I
what
think it would be
guarantee-
like, here's a Labo release that is
Yeah.
Animal Crossing themed.
Yeah.
Here's a Labo release that is WarioWare themed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see it as like integrating Labo concepts into existing games as like, hey, here's an optional thing. Yeah, like, yeah, you can build a sword and play this with it. Like, I don't see him doing that.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I agree. Let's see. Casey from Oregon. Do you think there are more Super Nintendo games that begin with the word Super or Nintendo 64 games that end with 64?
Super.
Think so?
Yeah.
Street Fighter alone adds like 5.
Sure. Like half the launch lineup.
Yeah.
God, like even third parties at the beginning of the SNES, like Super Castlevania 4.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Because the 64 thing too became a problem for sequels, right? You can't have like
Yes.
Right.
Star Fox 64
Yeah,
too.
so
It's
they
like
kinda
Super Smash TV, but then in game it didn't say Super. Like the title screen just said Smash TV, but the box technically, or the cart I think technically said Super Smash TV.
Yeah. He did not do the legwork for us, so we'll just have to assume
Yeah, that's
we're right.
that's a knowable thing, but
Yeah.
not while we're sitting here
Yes.
in this room that is completely cut off from the outside world.
Right.
We have no way,
This is a
hermetically sealed.
hyperbaric chamber in here.
I
Chris,
sleep in here. It's how I stay so young.
Christopher from Portland. Quick note about your conversation about a Smash Brothers for the Switch and the necessity of GameCube controller support. Several months ago, it was discovered that in an update, GameCube
That's right.
support was added to the Switch or GameCube controller.
Yes.
Through the USB thing.
Yeah, if you have that adapter they sold for the Wii U, then you can access that option. This further increases the likelihood of a Smash for Switch releasing shortly before or after of the online service. Or after the release of the online service.
When's the online
I
service?
think it's September, I believe.
So what? A direct around to E3?
About a Smash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess E3 would be the time to announce that. I don't think they would push it till after.
Or unless they want to hold it for Evo.
Yeah.
I don't
which
think
would be
they've
a
ever
weird- yeah.
announced anything.
I feel like
at
Evo and
Evo.
Nintendo.
It's
the
better now.
relationship. Yeah, it's better now.
They were in 2013. I think was the year that
they threatened to shut down.
some
Smash.
lawyer, like they said it was accidentally after the fact, but who fucking knows?
Right.
But yeah, they were threatening to shut down Melee.
What is it about
Someone
that
has to.
control? I half the reason I pulled this email was I just want to know like
What is about that controller?
like-
It sucks.
Yes,
It sucks.
I'm not a
I
big
hate
fan.
it.
Okay, like
A lot of people like it.
is the specific size and arrangement of the buttons? It has to be.
It's
right?
what people played Smash on originally
Is
because
that-
it's where it came out.
is that
I know
They're just stuck with
non-Smash
it, right?
people who like that controller a lot, and I just
Well,
don't get
they're
it.
bad. Though they're bad.
I don't like the X and Y. I don't like the little B. I like the C stick.
C-sticks.
Is that thing used in Smash?
Yeah,
C-stick?
it's for aerials and smash attacks.
Hmm.
Oh, like literally every button is constantly used.
Huh.
I like some of the ideas around the like analog trigger that then clicks in at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, that was
like
cool.
it had some neat ideas, but I don't like holding it. I don't like using it. Like I don't play any of the games that directly benefit from that controller style, so I don't like have some attachment to it that way. It's just get it, just put it to bed.
Better than the 64 controller, at least.
Wouldn't I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
like what fucking.
Yeah.
They're literally building controllers out of cardboard that are better than the N64 controller.
Yeah. GameCube controller always just felt like weird for its own sake to
Yeah.
me. Like they just wanted to make something wacky looking. Let's do like 3 more emails. Okay. Connor writes in. My question is simple. Is corn still good?
Yeah. Oh wait,
Um,
how is he spelling corn?
Creamed?
KORN all caps.
It was never good.
Corn was never good.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Corn with a C,
Mhm.
still good.
Still good.
Perpetually good.
Get yourself some ramen.
I had some cheese corn over the weekend.
Cheese corn.
Cheese corn.
Is it
It's-
just cheese and corn?
That's all it is.
It's right there in the name.
Yep.
You get what you pay for.
It's just like in a bowl.
Yeah, and a hot plate, and
Okay.
it was delicious.
Yeah.
Kind of tasted like elote.
Kind of cheese are we talking?
I like it. It tasted like mozzarella.
Hmm,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a Korean spot, and I feel
Okay.
like that's a weird staple.
Yeah.
That sounds all right.
Yeah.
Let's
Popped
see.
corn, creamed
Mhm.
corn, even. Like, corn's good.
Could I have some of your popped corn?
Only if you put this really spicy stuff all over it.
No, thank you.
All right. Email from Ricky in Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
He says that's near Vancouver. Yeah.
I know where the tape is.
We've got to go. Get your passport. We're off to Abbotsford.
No, you'll want to hear this. Not really a question, but since Dragon Ball Z is all the buzz at Giant Bomb these days, I thought I'd point out an interesting tidbit.
Still stupid.
The majority of the Japanese voice cast has been the same for the entirety of the anime's continuum, even into the newest iteration, Dragon Ball Super.
Yep.
The high-pitched voice actress for Goku, Gohan, and Goten is a female voice actress named Masako Nozawa, who is now 81 years old and is still voicing the same characters currently, along with most of the other voice actors.
Yes.
There you go.
Accurate.
Oh, were you aware?
Yes.
Huh.
The number of people that have reached out in an attempt to say the most baseline facts about Dragon Ball has grown in a way that has left me, I'm going to say, slightly regretful. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for writing in.
Welcome to Dragon Ball Facts.
That's on the Giant Bomb Presents feed.
Yeah.
If you are
Yeah.
interested in hearing two people watch Dragon Ball Z Kai for the first time.
What is it, episode 2 this week?
Yes, episode 2 went up yesterday.
You're up in the ante. I saw you guys doing 5 episodes a week.
Yeah, we were watching 3 episodes per show. We're gonna move that to 5 and see how it feels.
I feel like that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a good responsible amount of like, hey, this is, it's like it's like under 2 hours of watching every week, which I can commit to in my off time. Anything more than that would be probably too much.
What is it? It's 22
Yeah,
minutes?
but yeah, about 22 minutes an episode.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
Has it started feeling like a chore yet? I guess. That's
No,
the
it's
question.
awesome.
Like
It's
if you're still enjoying watching.
No,
it,
there's
then-
the show. I have not watched anything other than the first 6 episodes just yet.
Here's the
and
real question.
It's been a great time.
Do you have to constrain yourself? Like, what if you want to keep going? Can
No,
you watch ahead?
I mean, no,
Okay.
I wouldn't want to watch ahead because, every episode so far has ended in some kind of cliffhanger
Okay.
where you're like, I'm not quite sure where it goes from here, but I've got some ideas that if you were to watch the next 10 episodes, you would be like, well, I know how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm holding to the number of episodes we have set forth.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of stuff, and some of the reactions have been all over the place. Like, it got people talking about ways we should be watching Dragon Ball other than the way we're watching it.
Join the conversation.
Which has been frustrating, but whatever. I'm enjoying the show quite a bit. It's been a lot of fun.
Isaiah from Chicago has a question. In fact, he says, I have a somewhat fanboy-esque question. With the recent success of Monster Hunter World and squad-based shooters, is it time Capcom reboots the underwhelming but once promising Lost Planet series for a new generation? Maybe this is just me being a huge fan of the second game, but I think if done correctly, Capcom could capitalize on a reboot and could potentially have a cash cow where they could rotate new Monster Hunter and Lost Planet games biannually.
No.
All right, next email.
I really liked the idea of Lost Planet. I thought
Which one, though?
I only played the first one.
Okay, that's 1 and 2 are very different things.
Yeah.
Like, actually looking back,
And 3 also a very
three also a very different thing. But I guess 2 is the really ambitious, weird one because, like, looking back, it is very Monster Hunter-esque. Like, it's very
Yeah.
much about, like, getting people into 4-man squads and running missions over and over.
Yeah.
But at the time, like, coming from Lost Planet 1, like, that game was basically like a Gears of War style single-player game with big bugs.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I mean, it still had like the grappling stuff, right?
Well, it was
Like,
not exactly the
still-
same
yeah.
thing, but it was mostly a single-player game from what I remember.
Lost Planet 1, I think, came out and looked great.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
And-
like, I remember, I still remember to this day when Capcom PR brought
Yeah.
Lost Planet by the office for the first time, and it was
Yeah,
just like,
like,
holy shit, this
Uh,
is fucking amazing.
But also maybe not a great playing game.
Yeah.
Lost Planet 2, I don't think it looked great, and also not a great playing game.
Yeah, I had severe problems with Lost Planet 2.
I kind of think Lost Planet 2 is a bad game.
Yeah.
I think they just missed the mark so far in
Yeah.
that game. And
But-
then 3, is a totally different thing.
But now looking back, knowing what Monster Hunter is, I can at least kind of see where the thought process was coming from for why they would make Lost Planet 2 the way they did.
Well, it's weird because like there's like that end of it that is like kind of evident that like they're looking at some of that stuff, and then talking to Capcom people at the time and having them say like, oh, they're playing a lot of Call of Duty. They want to try to make a Western shooter kind of thing,
Right.
and then looking at that and going like, you could not have been farther away from the thing you said you were looking at.
Yeah.
Was strange.
But also mission-based, like gear and crafting-based squad shooters are like kind of everywhere now.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got Destiny, you got The Division, like Anthem's coming out. Like,
Yes, maybe it's their
Maybe.
chance to fucking get into this.
Maybe. Let's see. All right. Last email. Neil from Melbourne. Further to last week's email from a fellow Aussie regarding a trip to America and its fast food highlights, I thought you may be interested to hear what passes for fast food here in Oz. Firstly, there are the huge multinationals that you would expect to be here. McDonald's, though it is colloquially referred to as Macca's.
I hate that
I like that.
more than
Macca's.
I hate when Paul McCartney is
Yeah.
referred to as Macca.
I always
Just
thought that
everything
was-
about it. Just
I always thought that was very British, but I guess it works in
Yeah.
Australia
Big
too.
Macca.
I love when people call Gary Gaza.
yeah.
Very similar thing. Let's see. Other multinationals he lists: KFC, Pizza Hut, Subway, Domino's, and Nando's, which we don't have here. As
We
far as I
don't
know.
have. Yeah.
I think there are some Nando's
There might
in
be some
America
here.
now.
There
right?
might be some here.
I'm not even
Yeah,
sure what it is.
America's got Nando's.
It's,
America's got
I
Nando's.
think
My
it's-
hot new reality show.
I think it's chicken
Yeah,
based.
it is.
Okay. Let's see. Then there's the homegrown stuff, which includes Red Rooster, specializing in roast chickens,
Great.
Or I'm not sure how to say this, or roast chooks or chooks in the common parlance.
Okay.
CHOOK.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say chook.
Chook. And also various chicken sandwiches. Noodle box, which is, as you would expect, noodles in a
Hell
box.
yeah.
Great. That sounds awesome.
Grilled, which sells upmarket burgers and the most amazing herb-coated chips you've ever had. Pie Face, selling all kinds of delicious Aussie meat pies and savory treats.
Are they shaped like faces?
I've eaten at a place called Pie Face in L.A. I wonder if it's related.
And Schnitz, who mostly specialize in chicken schnitzel rolls. Man, Australian fast food sounds
What about Hungry
fucking-
Jack's?
Fucking amazing. We're getting there. You also have a couple of aberrations. Hungry Jack's. To all intents and purposes, this is Burger King. Check out the branding, and if you click through to what that looks like, it is the Burger King branding. There's some complicated legal history here, which meant that not too long ago, Hungry Jack's was trading alongside Burger King, with them both selling the exact same products. And then lastly, Taco Bill. Sadly, it's not a bootleg Taco Bell, but an overpriced chain of Mexican restaurants, which seems to prey upon uninformed American tourists. Seriously, I don't know a single Australian that's ever been in one. I hope you are now a little wiser and maybe a little bit hungry. P.S. Don't go to Taco Bill.
No, that's the whole thing in that email was go to Taco Bill's.
Yeah.
I want to go to I want to get those herb chips. I want to get a meat pie.
Yeah, I want to go to Pie Face.
And then I want to go to Taco Bill's.
I have to know. I would definitely want to eat at Hungry Jack's because I want to know what their like fucking renamed Burger King is all about. If it's just the same shit.
Yeah.
But man, I would have to know about Taco Bill.
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
say
be the first person to get married at a Taco Bill.
I'm gonna say if you're an American
Finally.
in Australia and you see a Taco Bill, you don't care what the quality of the food is. You
you're
just
like,
need to know.
I bet this is going to be terrible, and
Yeah.
we're about to find out.
You just need to know what a Taco Bill is.
Yeah.
And there's one way to find out.
Can't wait to get a cheesy gordita conch.
Mm-hmm.
Roast chooks. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everybody else who wrote in. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. That's where you send the emails. That's it. That's all the podcast I brought.
All right.
Now what?
Now we're going to do another podcast.
Oh,
We're going to kick you out of
Thank
the
God.
and podcast some
Ooh,
more.
you saved me.
How's
How's that thing been going?
after show?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Last week was the first one in a while.
Yeah.
We've been back in. And,
back in it.
Yeah, good to get back in it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to check with Jan to make sure the call stuff works before
Yeah,
he
I'll
leaves.
press the proper buttons to make it work.
Yeah, it's going well. If you're watching now, come hang out. We're always looking for more questions.
yeah, we can talk about Taco Bill
Yeah, I
Yes,
want to hear more about
and,
your local
you know,
fast food.
Yeah.
emulation or something.
Any Australians on the
Taco,
line?
yes.
Fake food and fake games.
Talk
That's
ab-
right.
Talk about Burger King emulation, which is apparently the business that Hungry Jack's is in.
Do you
the
think they had
Whooper.
like Hungry Jack's sneaking mission
Yeah.
for the Xbox 360?
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
a fact about Sneak King
Oh, yeah.
recently that is
Yeah, let's talk
so
about it.
insane.
Please.
I feel like I would have to dig up the quote before I could really speak to it.
As if you needed more reason to have strong opinions regarding Sneak King.
Yeah, I already thought it was a terrible thing.
This is proving to be hard to Google. Let me see.
I mean, whatever. Dude was a gold farmer at one
That's
point,
true,
right?
That is, like he ran fucking what was the big one? What was the acronym? IG
Breitbart, I think it was called.
whatever the biggest WoW
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
whatever the biggest WoW gold farming outfit was.
Yeah.
IGW whatever it was. This is I can't find it. This is impossible to Google. If you go to Google and type in Steve Bannon Sneak King, you get a lot of stuff. But
I think you just found a new episode for this.
but not what I was looking for.
Anyway, yeah, that dude played some role in making Sneak King happen.
Yeah, and we'd appreciate your fan art of Steve Bannon colon Sneak King.
I type that into Google and I get a bunch of different permutations of the headline: Senator Peter King blasts quote disheveled drunk Steve Bannon. So apparently he was involved in the Burger King 360 games.
Yeah.
In some way that came out recently. Just in case.
I don't know what to believe
a true
anymore.
Renaissance man.
Just in
I
case
guess.
you
Yeah.
didn't think that life could get any stranger. Here we are.
All right.
Well, hopefully you guys have plenty to talk about on the after show.
Now we do.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that's going to do it for this show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you right here next week.